Game number 15 for the Hyannis Harborhawks comes at Spillane Field in Wareham, Massachusetts against the Gatemen. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Lucy. You're listening to the Hyannis Harborhawks pregame coverage here on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network. First pitch between the Hawks, who sit at 10-4-1, the best record in the West, tops in the entire Cape, take on the Gatemen. Wareham is 10-6 and currently a point behind the Western Division leaders in second place. Today's game is brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn, a member of the leading hotels of the world, Chatham Bars Inn. And Hyannis is the Cape's hottest team right now. The Hawks are gunning for their 7th straight win today, so we obviously have a loaded pregame show for you today. Our sideline reporter, Danny Terzer, has an interview with Pedro Pages. I'll have a live word with the first half play-by-play man, Lyle Goldstein, and we'll take you around the league as well. So definitely plenty to look forward to here on your pregame coverage for the Hyannis Harborhawks. You're listening to that here on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network. Again, I'm Chris Lucy. First pitch coming up between Hyannis and Wareham here from Spillane Field at 6:30. But before we get to that, let's take a look at how the Hawks got here. Yesterday's contest against the Commodores was rained out, but Hyannis continued its roll on Wednesday. The Hawks won their 6th straight game, but it was never really in the bag. Let's hear how it all went down with your Harborhawks radio recap presented by the Hyannis Harborhawks on SoundCloud. You're listening here on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network. Highlights between the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Brewster Whitecaps in game number 14 of the Cape Cod Collegiate League coming your way right now. Let's listen in.
Welcome here in Brewster this evening, a 5 o'clock start. I'm Ron Marcello. I'm here with Chris Lucy. So we have today the Hyannis Harborhawks taking on the Brewster Whitecaps. 1-2 pitch. That is a laser out to right field. And that will get down. Ladies and gentlemen. And that is gone. Home run. It is now 3-0 Brewster. And Canzone puts a laser out to right field. Just fair. Down the line. 3-2 pitch. That is a ground ball that will get through the middle. 1 run scores. Another one right behind him. And the Harborhawks cut this lead now. Or this deficit now to 1. As it is now 3-2. 2-2 pitch. That hits out in the gap. And that will get down. This game is tied at 3-3. Another run might be coming home. The Harborhawks, for the first time today, are in the lead. It is now 4-3 in a great big inning here in the top of the 5th.
And what a piece from Pedro Pages. A 2-out double. The 0-2 is cut on and crushed out to left field. This tracks Wolf back to the wall, and it gets off the wall and is a base hit. Braden Como comes around third to score. Cruising into second base is Barefoot with his 2nd hit of the day, and that stakes the Harborhawks out to a 5-3 lead over the Whitecaps with 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. And the pitch, cut on and hacked the other way down the right field line. That dinks in front of Canzone for a base hit. Relay throw comes in, but Barefoot will score easily, and that's an RBI single for Pedro Pages, who stops up at first. And the Hawks lead 6-3 on a little 2-out rally here in the top of the 7th inning. The 2-1 is cut on and grounded over to the second baseman, Como. A run comes in to score, but Como goes over to second to get the easy one. And the Whitecaps are within a run. It's 6-5 here in the bottom of the 8th inning with 2 down, and Chris Wright coming to the plate. The 1-2 pitch. Cut on and sent high in the air to the left side of the infield. Seth Gray making the call, but called off by Davis Wenzel, who closes his glove on the final out of the Harborhawks' 6th straight win here in Brewster, Massachusetts.
Audio there, courtesy of the Hyannis Harborhawks on SoundCloud. Be sure to head to SoundCloud to hear plenty more original content where that came from. I'm Chris Lucy again. We're back here at Spillane Field, and you're listening to pregame coverage on the Hyannis Harborhawks digital network. Harborhawks field reporter Danny Terzer is going to join me in the booth in a minute, but getting back to the task at hand right now, the Harborhawks and the Gatemen. Number 15, the game between the Western Division leader Hyannis and second place Wareham is going to be a tight one because these two ball clubs have been neck and neck for the top spot in the Western Division all season long. And a key factor to how Hyannis has been able to maintain distance from the Gatemen is FAU catcher and first baseman Pedro Pages. The Doral, Florida native has been on an absolute tear for the Harbor Hawks. Over the life of a 4-game hit streak that he's on right now, he's 7 for his last 10 at-bats, and he's driven in 6 runs. He spoke with Danny Terzer after the 6-5 win for the Hawks against Brewster before yesterday's rainout against the Falmouth Commodores. Let's listen into their conversation, courtesy of the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on SoundCloud.
Pedro, a home run and a double yesterday, 3 RBIs today. How would you grade your performance these past few days?
Honestly, I've just been seeing the ball better. I've been talking to Coach Bobby, and he's been helping me just stay calm at the plate and just let everything come to you. Don't go get anything, and it's just been working.
It seems like for this team this season, when one guy gets going, you all feed off that momentum. How does a teammate's success help get you guys going?
Like Coach Polk says, it's contagious hitting. Once one person goes, we all go. Everyone just gets confidence that, no matter who's on the mound, you can just hit him, if you stay calm and stuff. So it's been working for all of us.
You're 7 weeks post-hand surgery. How are you pushing through that?
I get a lot of ice treatment after games and stuff, but, at the end of the day, it's just pain I have to get through because there's nothing wrong with my hand anymore. It's just soreness and stuff, so I just got to push.
Thanks, Pedro.
Thank you.
That was Danny Terzer and Pedro Pages after a 6-5 Harbor Hawks win over the Brewster Whitecaps, their 6th in a row. Danny joins me in the booth right now here from Spillane Field in advance of a game between the Harbor Hawks and the Wareham Gatemen. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure to have you on. And Danny, you spoke to Pedro the other day, and one of very few people who work more with Harbor Hawks pitchers than him and the rest of the catchers is pitching coach Ray Korn. You had the chance to speak with him today. What was the biggest thing that you took away from your conversation with him?
Well, we talked a lot about the differences between the beginning of the season and where they are now. Obviously, they're on quite a winning streak, so a lot of that has come from the pitches and the pitchers. So he was telling me that the pitchers, the main thing there is that they have to learn how to pitch in this league. Maybe back at their schools, they could throw a fastball down the middle and it was going to work. But now in this league where all the batters are at the top of their game, they're going to be able to hit those. So he wants his pitchers to focus on the corners and stay relaxed. That's also a huge thing that so many of the players and the coaches have brought up to me. The nerves from that first week till now. Now we're almost a third into the season. That's definitely been something that's been changing and helping them get these wins.
Well, Travis Marr definitely settled down between his first outing for the Harbor Hawks, a rough one against Chatham, to a 4-inning shutout performance in his second start. What has Coach Korn been working on with Travis Marr in particular, who goes for the Harbor Hawks tonight?
Well, he said Travis can throw hard, and he can throw hard enough to beat people with his fastball. But he needs to make sure that when he's doing that, he's staying out of the middle of the plate. He's got a good changeup as well. And then the other thing Coach talked about was Marr's secondary pitches. So when he's behind in the count, he wants to make sure that the hitter is worrying not only about Marr's speed, but also that he can throw a breaking ball.
Danny Terzer with me, Chris Lucy in the booth right now. Hyannis about to take on the Wareham Gatemen. First pitch is less than a half hour away. And Danny, before I let you go, you spoke with Ray Korn today. He's really helped turn the Harbor Hawks around pitching-wise. It's been a night and day difference between game 1 and where we sit now at game number 15. If there was one main thing that Coach Korn points to as the turning point for the Harbor Hawks staff, what was it?
Well, I think that both Coach Korn and Coach Gassman have said to me continuously that they want the starters to be able to go 5 innings. It's so important for them to be able to save the bullpen and not get too many guys out there, especially since they're turning over every single day and playing the next day. So I think in the past few games we've seen that, and that's been such a huge factor in their success recently.
Danny Terzer up here in the booth, Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show. Danny, I'll let you get the headset off and get down to your spot on the field where you will be checking out the Harbor Hawks as they take on the Wareham Gatemen here from Spillane Field. And we'll toss to a little bit of a break here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network, but we'll be back in just a few minutes here on the Harbor Hawks digital network. I'll sit down with Lyle Goldstein, tonight's first half play-by-play man. I'll take you around the league, and then you will be all ready to go for first pitch. Hyannis and Wareham, number 1 and number 2 respectively in the Cape's Western Division coming up in just a couple of minutes here on the Hyannis Arborhawks Digital Network. Do not miss it. We'll be back shortly.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back with pregame coverage here on the Hyannis Arborhawks Digital Network. Good evening, everybody. For those of you just joining us, I'm Chris Lucy. The number one team in the West, the Hyannis Arborhawks, at 6-4-1, or 10-4-1, excuse me, taking on the Wareham Gatemen, who sit at 10-6. 21 points for Hyannis, 20 for the Gatemen, as they go into a battle for the top of the Western Division tonight. And I'm joined right now by first half play-by-play man Lyle Goldstein. And Lyle, this is a massive game for both teams. You must be very excited to be on the call tonight.
Absolutely. The two best teams in the Western Division, the only two teams in the league with 10 wins, squaring off for game number 3. They've each taken one of the first two. It's going to be exciting.
These two splitting that season series at a game apiece. But Lyle, let's take a look back at game number 14 for Hyannis, a game that was never quite sewn up for Hyannis, even when they were able to jump out to a 3-run lead as they let it evaporate away late in the game. Still able to hold on for a 6-5 win against the Brewster Whitecaps before yesterday's rainout out in Falmouth. But what enabled Hyannis to storm back from a 3-run deficit after that big home run early in the game?
Just capitalizing when the opportunities were there on offense. We talked about earlier in the year that the big innings were hurting Hyannis on the pitching side, and now they're starting to have a couple of their own on the offensive side, and really just contagious hitting like we've heard so much of this coaching staff talk about, highlighted by a 2 RBI single from Brady Lindsley, a 2 RBI double from Pedro Pages. And this team is just, like we said on the post-game show yesterday, just firing on all cylinders, and they found their stroke on offense. And against a Brewster pitching staff, and really just team in general that has been on a downward spiral, really struggling to find their groove, they took advantage of it.
And Travis Maher taking the bump for the Harbor Hawks today. Danny Terzner and I spoke before the game, and she said that the biggest part of his turnaround was really learning how to pitch in this league. Avoid those meatball pitches that could get you by an ACC play, but maybe not necessarily get the Clemson righty through things out here on the Cape. So in your eyes, how do you see more progression between start number 2 and start number 3 tonight for Travis?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just the command. He's got a good fastball, but just spotting up the corners with it and hitting his corners on the same page with his catcher tonight, and which will be Brady Lindsley. It's not his Clemson teammate Wilkie tonight. But he walked 3 guys in his last start against Falmouth, and I think the biggest key for him, like we talked about, just stay in the strike zone, but avoid the big meatball pitch like Danny talked about in our interview. But, I mean, hey, 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs. It's hard to improve a ton on that other than maybe the duration of the start and just controlling the zone.
Travis Marr on a roll right now. The Harbor Hawks, the same, winners of 6 straight, going into a big Western Division battle tonight. Hyannis in first place, Wareham in second place. The winner here at Spillane Field tonight, coming away with the top spot in the Western Division. This thing gets going in 15 minutes. I'm Chris Lucy. Lyle Goldstein over to my right here on the pregame coverage for the Harbor Hawks. And Lyle, I'll let you step away to continue prepping for your first half call in just a second. But one last question. What can the Harbor Hawks expect today from UCLA starter Ryan Garcia for the Wareham Gatemen?
Well, it's another guy with a good fastball, and he's got some good stuff in his repertoire. He had 9 strikeouts in his lone start so far in this season in just 4 innings pitched. When they faced the Orleans Firebirds, of course, they dropped that game 10-3, but in his outing, 4 innings, 1 earned, 9 Ks. This is a guy they're probably going to have to jump on early. It's one of those guys that the longer he gets into the game, the more he's going to settle down and find his stuff. So if you're the Harbor Hawks offense, you got to jump on him early, really in those first couple innings, and find that big spot on offense the way that Wareham did in the first inning against these Harbor Hawks the last time they scored off at Spillane Field, where the Gatemen won 9-0, with that big 5 spot that they put up in the first inning being the highlight.
Lyle Goldstein doing it all, calling first half play-by-play, joining me on the pregame show. Lyle, thank you so much, my good man. I'll let you continue getting yourself ready to go for what promises to be a barn burner of a game. Number 1 Hyannis taking on number 2 Wareham, 2 Western Division foes squaring off at 6:30, and there's some serious playoff implications in this game. So the rest of the league will be keeping an eye on Spillane tonight. But in a little inverse of that, let's take a quick look around the league before I toss to a break and we get you guys ready for the big matchup between Hyannis and the Gatemen. Over in Durant Park, the Brewster Whitecaps are looking to break a huge losing skid. They have fallen 6 consecutive games in a row, and currently it's 0-0 with the Bourne Braves down in Durant Park, just across the bridge to get back onto the Cape. Down at Gov Fuller Field, the field has finally dried up enough for the Commodores to take on the Katua Kettleers. Hyannis was supposed to play in Falmouth last night, that one being called due to rain. Still knotted at 0 in the top of the second between Katua and Falmouth. And getting the 7 o'clock starts in down at Eldridge Park, the Orleans Firebirds send Eric Miller out to the mound to take on Xavion Curry and the Harwich Mariners at 7 p.m. And then at Veterans Field, of course, Colin Palouse for the Chatham Anglers takes on the YD Red Sox and Jensen Elliott. First pitch less than 15 minutes away here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network between the Wareham Gatemen and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. That'll be all for our pregame coverage, but that's not the last you're going to be hearing from me. I'll be back with another trip around the league in the bottom of the 4th inning, a postgame wrap on this very broadcast, and then you can see me on our YouTube postgame show, Hawk Talk. Signing off until then, I'm Chris Lucy. Thank you for joining us, and if you enjoy our company enough, be sure to take a look at our SoundCloud page as well. You can catch exclusive interviews, highlight reels, and so much more. And then Hawk Talk, of course, on the YouTube page. Both of those available on those interfaces. Just check out the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Signing off one last time before we get to the live play-by-play. I'm Chris Lucy. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Magic Works Media copyright. 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 Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
In spite of the rain yesterday, the Hawks are still hot. They've conquered their last 6 opponents and today travel off Cape to the very landmark where they dropped their last contest 10 whole days ago. Spillane Field with their opposition in the Wareham Gatemen, who beat Hyannis 9-1 last Tuesday and now look to stay atop the Western Division and move to 2-1 on the season against their Western Division rival. Harbor Hawks baseball starts right now. Hi, everybody. I'm Lyle Goldstein alongside Robert Marcello on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Rob, Hyannis is undoubtedly the hottest team in the Cape Cod right now, and they send Travis Marr out to the mound, who's coming off a scoreless outing his last time on the rubber. How does he repeat that against a torrid offense in Wareham?
I think he has to get ahead of counts. I think anytime I talk about it throughout this whole season, for a pitcher being able to get ahead of counts, it makes it a lot easier for the opposition or for them against the opposition. So I think he has to do that today. He has to command his pitches. He did a very good job of that last time he was on the bump.
He's set to take the mound to face the Wareham Gatemen lineup. The order for the Gatemen, the Gatemen will come up in the bottom of the first, I should say. But on the mound tonight for the Wareham Gatemen, right-hander Ryan Garcia out of UCLA, who so far in his one start on the season went 4 innings, struck out 9, gave up just 1 earned on 3 hits, and he makes outing number 2 of his Cape Cod League season. He's set to face Davis Wenzel to set things going for the Harbor Hawks in their second trip to Spillane Field of the season. Wenzel out of Baylor playing shortstop tonight. The rest of the Harbor Hawks lineup, Braden Como hitting second and playing second out of Rice. Seth Gray in the number 3 hole out of Wright State. He's playing third base. Matthew Barefoot in the cleanup spot again for the 3rd straight game. He's in left field out of Campbell. As play is called, Garcia's first pitch to Wenzel is a called strike on a first pitch fastball. Pedro Page is in the number 5 spot out of FAU playing first. Trevor Hoover out of Arizona State playing right field hitting 6th. Todd Lott in the number 7 spot, the DH out of Louisiana Lafayette, as Garcia's 0-1 pitch misses down in the dirt as the count evens at a ball and a strike. And for the 8-9 in the Harbor Hawks order, Tommy Jew out of UCSB playing center field, and Brady Lindsley from Oklahoma rounding out the 9 and doing the catching. As Garcia's first off-speed pitch is a called strike to Wenzel as the count moves to 1-2. Wenzel with 11 walks so far on the young season. 1-2 pitch, swinging a low line drive down the right field line, hooking foul. Wenzel fights off a pitch from Ryan Garcia to keep the count at 1-2. First pitch time was 6:29 p.m. here at Spillane Field. Fans scattered throughout the ballpark, a couple hundred or so in attendance. The 1-2 to Wenzel, off speed, misses upstairs, 2-2 the count. Garcia going from the windup, looking to record out number 1 here in the young ball game. Wenzel swings and drives that 2-2 pitch to deep left field. Going back is Packard and it, one hops the wall. Wenzel coasting into second with no throw. Relays cut off, and the Harbor Hawks are in business in the top of the first on a leadoff double from Davis Wenzel.
A good piece there by Wenzel, being able to shoot it out to left field. Look, it was going to be gone as the left fielder kind of took his time backing up. It landed off the wall very awkwardly. Almost a bad throw into third base, but Wenzel's standing up at second.
Dimensions here fairly large, at least in the gaps at Spillane Field. 315 down the left field line, but Wenzel sent that one more into the gap in left center. As Garcia now works from the set, ready to deliver the first pitch to right second baseman Braden Como, who takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. The Gateman defense for tonight, Austin Shenton playing third base, Ryan Kreidler out of UCLA at shortstop, Zahid Valenzuela from CSU Fullerton at second, and Lyle Lockhart Jr. out of Houston playing first base. Garcia comes to the set, checks on Wenzel. Como swings at that pitch and sends a ground ball on a two-hopper to second base. Valenzuela fields it cleanly and throws to first, but Como does his job. A ground ball to the right side advances Wenzel to third. One out for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the first, bringing up Seth Gray.
Just very simple little things like that really can kind of get you going offensively. Wenzel, leadoff double. Como being able to shoot the ball over to the other side of the field. Runner comes over.
And from left to right in the outfield, respectively, for the Gatemen, will be Bryant Packard in left out of East Carolina, Skylar Hunter from Purdue in center, and Jeremy Idens in right out of UCLA, as Seth Gray takes a first pitch fastball high and outside for ball 1. Seth Gray comes into the day hitting .281 on the summer, 9 for his first 32. The fastball catches the outside corner for strike 1. 1-1 the count to Gray. Wenzel on third, just 90 feet away from plating the first run of the ball game. The set and the 1-1 misses low and outside. Well, Seth Gray, third on the team in doubles, that being the Wright State Raiders in his 2018 campaign. Also third in total bases in 2018 as Garcia steps off the mound to reset very quickly, but now back on, continuing to work from the set. The pitch to Seth Gray, a breaking ball in there for a strike, and the count now 2-2. So we've seen Garcia really mixing his off-speed well in this at-bat to Seth Gray after Wenzel tattooed that fastball out to left center field. The 2-2 from Garcia, breaking ball fouled away. Gray fights off a breaking ball. One out here in the first, but Braden Como with a productive out as that ground ball to the right side advanced Wenzel. He stands at third. The left-handed hitter in Gray wiggling that bat above his left shoulder. The 2-2, swinging a foul back off the screen behind home plate. So Seth Gray now fouled off 2 straight pitches with 2 strikes. Looking to find a gap and punch one through a hole, which would be his 5th RBI of the season, has 4 up to this point. The next pitch, swinging a ground ball foul up the first base line. Another breaking ball from the pitcher in Garcia. Catcher in Drew Millis, who's behind the plate tonight for the Wareham Gatemen, runs over to the first base dugout to grab a couple of new balls from his coaches. Gets it back to Garcia. Currently a .225 ERA on his Cape League season. Of course, coming into today, thrown just 4 innings. He comes to the set right at the belt. The 2-2, swing and a miss, and Seth Gray punches out for the second out of the first.
Seth Gray unable to get that run in there. Just a little simple little ground ball would have gotten the run scored because the fielders in Wareham were playing back.
Well, that brings up the cleanup hitter in Matthew Barefoot, the right-handed hitter out of Campbell University, manning left field tonight. 2 outs, Wenzel on third. Garcia from the set. The first pitch. Foul tipped off the bat of Barefoot, who gave a check swing and back into the glove of Millis for strike one. Barefoot, undoubtedly the hottest hitter in the Harbor Hawks order, sporting a .375 average coming into today. The next pitch, running fastball outside for ball one. Barefoot, 15 for 40 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs on the young summer. In Wednesday's game against the Whitecaps, he had 3 hits, 2 runs scored, including a double. Now the 1-1. Breaking ball in there right on the outside corner for strike two.
Just caught the outer edge of the plate there. Barefoot wasn't going to be able to do anything with that pitch.
Count sits at 1-2. Garcia a strike away from a clean first frame. He's got Wenzel on third. The pitch to Barefoot, swinging a ground ball foul up the third base line. The infield playing back with 2 outs. Shifted a little bit off the line. In left field is Packard. Jeremy Idens also playing fairly deep in right field. Now the 1-2, swinging a high pop-up on the infield. Might stay in play. Shenton coming into foul ground and makes the catch for out number 3. So a lead-off double from Davis Wenzel is all the Harbor Hawks can muster in the top of the first. No runs come across on 1 hit. Score still 0-0 at the end of the top of the first. We'll bring you back right after this here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We bring you back inside Spillane Field for the bottom of the first inning, where Travis Marr toes the slab, the right-hander out of Clemson. 3rd Cape Cod League appearance on the summer. Set to face Gateman leadoff hitter and Jeremy Idens, who swings at the first pitch and tattoos this to deep left field. Going back is Barefoot, looking up, and it is long gone. With 1 pitch, Jeremy Idens gives the Gateman a 1-0 lead as he scorches that pitch way out into the bleachers beyond the fence in left field. Travis Marr left one out over the heart of the plate, and Idens didn't miss it.
Definitely did not there. A rough way to start the game if you're Marr. Hopefully he can settle down here.
And that'll bring up Saheed Valencia, the CSU Fullerton second baseman. The 1 pitch into the bottom of the first, and Wareham already up 1-0. Marr comes back with a fastball right at the knees to Valenzuela. Well, the rest of the lineup for you, for the Wareham Gatemen, Austin Shenton hitting third, playing third base. Bryant Packard in the cleanup spot playing left field as the 0-1 pitch is a check swing, appeal down the third, and the hitter in Valencia goes around, so now in an 0-2 count. Hitting fifth, Lyle Lockhart Jr., the Houston first baseman. Paven Parks following him, the designated hitter out of Kent State. As Marr gets his sign from the catcher and Brady Lindsley from the windup. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, foul back into the glove of Lindsley for strike 3. So Travis Marr flushes that first pitch home run and comes back with a strikeout on just 3 pitches for the first out of the bottom of the first.
Way to come back there by Marr, letting up the leadoff home run, being able to get a strikeout. Now he can settle down.
And the final third of the Gateman order, Ryan Kreidler hitting 7th out of UCLA, Drew Millis doing the catching tonight and hitting 8th out of Missouri State, and Skylar Hunter, the Purdue center fielder, rounding out the 9. First pitch to the number 3 hitter, and Shenton squares to bunt, pulls back, but the pitch called a strike anyway. 0-1 the count. Marr continuing to work from the windup with Seth Gray playing even with the bag at third. The 0-1. Just low for ball 1, 1-1 the count. The Harbor Hawks defense for you, Seth Gray, as we just mentioned, at third, Davis Wenzel at short, Braden Como at second base, and Pedro Pages over at first. As the 1-1 offering from Mars, a fastball in there for strike 2 right on the outside corner. So Mars starting to work quickly, but from left to right for the Harbor Hawks, Matthew Barefoot in left, Tommy Jew in center, and out and right, Trevor Hauver. He's got a 1-2 count to Austin Shenton. That fastball misses just away. 2-2 the count. Looking for out number 2 for the hitter in Shenton, who's been the hottest hitter in the Cape League so far this summer. He leads the entire league in batting average, sitting at .422. Swings at that pitch and sends a low line drive out to short. Wenzel moves off to his left and makes the catch on the run for the second out.
An easy play for Wenzel there. Only had to move just a couple of steps. It was right in his glove.
So 2 quick outs for Travis Marr after the leadoff home run to Jeremy Idens. And he's now set to face Bryant Packard, the left fielder out of East Carolina. Travis from the windup. First pitch, fastball, misses high and away. So Bryant Packard coming off a year where he hit .406 at East Carolina as he swings and misses through a changeup from Marr. Was named the AAC Player of the Year in 2018. That's the American Athletic Conference, which East Carolina's in. A swing and a miss. First strike 2 from the hitter in Packard. Travis Marr coming back with some more off-speed stuff. Clearly did his scouting report. Packard had 30 extra base hits on the year, along with 14 home runs as time is called. And the left-handed hitter in Packard briefly steps out of the box. Now back in. His back foot right on the back line of the left-handed side. The 1-2 from Marr misses away as the count evens. He had 89 total hits on the year in Packard. That tied for 25th most in the nation. The 2-2 from Marr, swinging a fly ball out to short right field. Coming in is Trevor Hauver. Can't get there, and it drops in front of him for a base hit. Gatemen pick up their second hit of the inning, and on at first is Bryant Packard with 2 outs.
Hauver there really kind of unable to see the ball there. Thought it was going to continue to go out into right field. Unfortunately, it drops down for a hit.
Now, of course, we start at 6:30 p.m. here at Spillane Field. The sun's still out and shining bright. Lights not yet on here, as the outfielders are going to battle this sun for a good at least first third of the ball game, probably a little bit over half of it. That was a low line drive. Not sure if Hauver would have had a chance to come up with that play, but a valiant effort. As Marr's first pitch from the set to Lyle Lockhart is taken for a strike on a fastball. So really outside of that first pitch to Jeremy Idens, he's commanded the zone well in this first inning. Seen him spot up his fastballs pretty well for the next 3 hitters. Steps off the mound for the first time and throws over to first, but back safely is the runner in Bryant Packard. Infield now back with 2 outs. Page is holding on the runner at first. Marr from the set. And the pitch, swinging a ground ball right to the shortstop, Wenzel. Fields it on a couple of hops and takes it to the bag himself. Steps on second for out number 3. So a leadoff home run from Jeremy Idens puts the Gatemen on the board 1-0. But Marr settles down, gives up an extra hit to Bryant Packard, but otherwise no further damage. 1-0 Gatemen, your score at the end of the first inning. And we'll be back for the second very shortly here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media.
And we're back here at Spillane Field for the top of the second inning. Due up for the Harbor Hawks, the first three men at the plate, Pedro Pages, Trevor Hoover, and Todd Lott. Ryan Garcia, the right-hander out of UCLA, back out for inning number 2. Faced 4 batters in the first, a leadoff double from Davis Wenzel, and then went on to retire the next 3 via a ground-out, strikeout, and a pop-out. Pedro Pages swings at the first pitch and fouls it off the chest protector of the catcher in Millis. Home plate umpire walks a new ball out to the mound, greeted halfway by the pitcher in Garcia. Rubbing the ball out a little bit, now back onto the mound. Pages finding his way back into the batter's box. As Pages, another hot bat in this Harbor Hawks lineup. We mentioned Matthew Barefoot last inning, but Pages, his average all the way up to 317 on the year. As he takes a ball inside. Appeal down to first, does not go around, and the count's 1-1. On that at bat, but regardless, pitch is still called a ball as Garcia comes back with some off speed, taken down low for ball 2. Count now sits at 2-1 to the FAU first baseman. Garcia working from the windup. The next pitch, called strike right at the knees. 2-2 the count. Garcia continuing to work very quickly as Pages steps out of the box to change the pace a little bit. But he's now back in. The right-hander Garcia fires home, a swing and a ground ball foul up the first base line. Pages with 1 home run on the year. That came just a couple of nights ago when he sent that opposite field 3-run shot out to right field and off the scoreboard. That was at home at McKeon Park against these very Wareham Gatemen.
Absolutely. It went off the center field ball as well.
The 2-2 pitch to Pages. Swinging a ground ball foul, this time up the third base line. Pages fights off 2 straight pitches and fouls them both off to stay alive. And Rob, you mentioned off the center field fence. That came yesterday against Brewster. Now, that one didn't quite go out, but he still really squared that one up about as good as anybody can, just missing another long ball. Garcia back with the 2-2 pitch. Fastball misses down in the zone. Count moves to full. Infield playing back with a 3-2 count. Garcia ready. Payoff pitch, swinging a line drive, taken on a hop on the infield by Ryan Kreidler at short. Fields it in the hole and throws it on to first for out number 1. The Pedro Pages breaks his bat on that low line drive on the infield. Kreidler plays it off a hot, his back foot right on the outfield grass in the 6 hole, but makes a strong throw over to Lyle Lockhart to complete the out.
Tough bid there for Pages. Thought he could have been able to get a hit there, but the shortstop makes a great play.
Trevor Hoover steps in, the left-handed hitter out of Arizona State. Garcia continuing to work from the set. The first pitch fouled off. A line drive right behind home plate. So that's 2-2 hitters that Drew Millis has taken right off the chest, and the home plate umpire catching a little bit of a ricochet from it as well. But Trevor Hoover, his last start came against the Harwich Mariners. Got a pinch hit against the Gatemen on Tuesday. Didn't play on Wednesday against the Whitecaps at Stony Brook Field. Takes one down low, and the count moves to 1-1. 260 average for Haver on the summer. 6 for his first 23 with 4 RBIs as well with a long ball. Garcia, the 1-1 pitch. Checks his swing, but a called strike on a fastball on the inside corner. 1-2 to Haver. Todd Lott waiting on deck. Garcia, the wind. The 1-2 misses up and away with a fastball. And we talked about it on the pregame show. This Harbor Hawks offense really starting to click after struggling to get the bats going in the early going of the summer. As the 2-2 to Haver misses just upstairs with an off-speed pitch, 3-2. But you look down this lineup, everybody from 2 through 7 hitting 260 or better. Wenzel hitting 222, but 11 walks on the summer. The payoff pitch to Haver, swing and a miss for strike 3. The left-hander punches out for out number 2. Second strikeout of the night for Ryan Garcia, and it'll bring up Todd Lott.
Garcia's really gotten these guys kind of thinking there's a different pitch coming than there actually is. Very confusing, these Harbor Hawk hitters.
Doing a good job mixing up his off-speed along with that fastball. And we know he can use that fastball well. He struck out 9 hitters in his first start. That was the only one he's made this summer coming into today. He's already got 2 punch-outs tonight. He winds and fires the first pitch to Todd Lott, taken for a ball. Lott, of course, his breakout moment came in Game 2 of Sunday's doubleheader against the Orleans Firebirds when he hit 2 homers in as many at-bats to win that game 3-2. Coming back with a fastball is Garcia, taken for a strike. But Todd Lott, after really looking like he was having trouble finding his swing, is now up to 303 on the summer. He swings at an off-speed pitch and sends it foul down the left field line. 3 home runs, 2 of those coming in the Orleans game. The other, an opposite field shot at Lowell Park against the Katuitt Kettleers. 1-2 the count, infield still back. The pitch from Garcia, swinging a foul up and out of play on the right side. Well, Garcia, in his season at UCLA, 2.23 ERA in 22 appearances, made 12 starts. Now the 1-2, swinging a line drive down the left field line. That'll get by Packard and all the way to the wall. Lott rounds first, cruising into second, where he'll stand up there. Second double on the night for the Harbor Hawks as Todd Lott checks in with the first hit of the top of the second. Man on second with 2 outs for the number 8 hitter in Tommy Jew.
Good piece there by Todd Lott, being able to hit the ball down the line so the left fielder had no chance to get it with his speed standing up at second.
So 2 hits in the first inning and 2/3 for the Harbor Hawks, both of them being doubles. One to lead off the game from Davis Wenzel. The other just a moment ago from Lott, who continues to just swing the bat exceptionally well. The right-handed hitter in Jew wiggling that bat behind his right shoulder. Takes a first pitch strike right at the knees. Garcia now going back to the set. Lott receiving a little bit of attention at second as Sahid Valenzuela is playing a little bit more up the middle. Kreidler at his natural spot at short. The pitch, swinging a line drive into left field, falling in front for a base hit. Lott rounding third, heading for home. Relay to the plate is well in time, and gunned down at the plate is Todd Lott. Tommy Jew comes in with a single, but can't produce the RBI as a great throw to the plate by Packard. One hops the catcher in Millis. Had Lott by about 5 feet. Harbor Hawks can't muster a run in the top of the second, but they'll go back out on defense as Travis Marr goes back out for inning number 2. Right after this, the score still 1-0 Gatemen here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Travis Marr toes the slab for inning number 2, set to face the Wareham Gatemen once again, and the 5, 6, 7 hitters in their order, and Lyle Lockhart, Haven Parks, and Ryan Kreidler. The left-handed hitter and Lockhart steps in, the Houston first baseman, takes a first pitch ball down low. If you're just joining us, a leadoff home run from Jeremy Idens in the bottom of the first on the first pitch was the lone Gateman run, as Lockhart swings and misses through the next pitch from Mars, the count back to 1-1. After that, Marr retired. The next two hitters, this is Paven Parks at the plate. Takes an off-speed away for ball 2. Lyle Lockhart was the final out of the first inning. But as I was saying, Marr retired the next two hitters in Valenzuela and Shenton, gave up a single to Packard, and then retired Lockhart. As Paven Park sends a low line drive into short right field, getting down for a base hit. Fielded by Hoffer, throws it back in. Stopping at first is Parks, and the first man is aboard for the Wareham Gatemen of the bottom of the second.
Wareham already up 1-0. They're trying to widen their lead. I think Marr really just has to settle down here. He pitched pretty good in the first inning. After letting up the leadoff home run, he has to do this again here.
So hits to lead off both the first and second inning for the Gatemen. This time, Paven Parks with a single on at first. Ryan Kreidler steps to the plate. Marr now goes from the set. The first pitch is right at the knees and on the inside corner for a called strike. Getting his lead off of first is the runner in Packard. Kreidler with a wide stance in that right-handed side of the batter's box. Feet definitely more than shoulder width apart. As Marr throws over to the bag, back safely is the runner in Parks. Well, Ryan Kreidler had the big 3-run double the last time the Harbor Hawks played here. That was in the bottom of the first. It really broke the game open as Kreidler checks his swing, does not go around, and the pitch is called ball 2 as Marr missed in the dirt. But that 3-run double from Kreidler was part of a 4 spot that the Gatemen put up in the first inning of the game back last Tuesday, where they won by a score of 9-0. 4 of their 9 runs coming in their first frame on offense. Runner takes off for second, a hit and run in line as Kreidler sends it to first base on the ground, fielded on a hop by Pages, takes it to the bag himself for out number 1, but advancing down to second is the runner in Parks.
Great job there by Pages over at first, not trying to throw over to second because I don't think he would have got him. And there have been runners both on first and second. He gets the easy out at first for the first out.
And Kreidler did exactly what was expected of him on the hit and run, with the runner taking off, put a ground ball down to the right side, advanced the runner to second. Couldn't get it through the hole between first and second. But Pages making a nice play, like you mentioned, Robert, going off to his backhand. Now set to face Drew Millis. Takes the first pitch for strike 1. A left-handed hitter in Millis comes into the game hitting .230, 6 for his first 26. Yet to produce an RBI. Wenzel giving the runner a little bit of attention at second. Now back to his normal spot as Marr spikes one in the dirt, chested up by the catcher in Lindsley. Count now 1-1. But Ryan Kreidler continuing to make his presence felt against these Hyannis Harbor Hawks. We mentioned the double in the first game, now advances the runner on a hit and run to the right side. He was the lone out so far at the bottom of the second. As the right-hander in Marr goes from the set. The pitch is a high chopper to the second baseman, Braden Como. Tries to field it on the run, can't do so. Gets by him and safe at first is the runner in Millis with no throw. Stopping at third is Paven Parks, who thought about charging home, but retreated back to the bag as Wenzel picked it up right behind Como, backing up. And the Gatemen now have runners on the corners with 1 out for the number 9 hitter in Skylar Hunter.
Como there, unfortunately unable to get that ball there, but what a great job there by Davis Wenzel. There to be able to back him up, not allowing that runner to score as he would have just walked home.
Yeah, you said it. Wenzel doesn't back up. That runner scores easily in Park, staying aware on that high chopping ground balls. The first pitch to Hunter misses low and outside for ball one. The Travis Marr into a jam in the bottom of the second. First and third, one out. Hunter swings at the next pitch and grounds it foul. Takes a hop into the Harbor Hawks dugout on the third base side. Skylar Hunter looking to get his summer going in a hurry, hitting just 132. He's got 6 RBIs to his name. As Travis Marr throws over to first, back safely is the runner in Millis with a short lead. That last play was scored an error on Braden Como. Marr from the set again. The pitch to Hunter. Swinging a fly ball foul down the left field line. Gets out of play. Marr could really use a strikeout here, as well as a double play ball as the middle infield playing back. Seth Gray a little bit behind the bag at third. Pages holding on the runner in Millis at first. Marr comes set. The 1-2 pitch, swinging a foul down the left field line and out of play again. Well, Travis Marr has just 1 strikeout so far in the ballgame. That came against Zahid Valenzuela right after Jeremy Idens homered to lead off the game. In the bottom of the first for the Gatemen. 1-2 from Marr in the dirt, chested up by Lindsley. Runner taking off for second, and Millis slides in head first with no throw. And the Gatemen have 2 runners in scoring position. Runners on second and third with 1 out. A 2-2 count to the hitter and Hunter. Ron Polk stepping out of the dugout, going over some infield defense as Wenzel and Seth Gray now come in on the left side. Pedro Pages doing more of the same, playing even with the bag, but Como still back behind the bag at second at his usual spot. The pitch from Marr, swing and a miss in the dirt for strike 3. Brady Lindsley completes the strikeout, throws down to Pedro Pages for out number 2, and runners stay put. Marr records his second strikeout of the evening, but he's set to face the right-handed hitter in Jeremy Idens, the leadoff hitter out of UCLA, who, as we just mentioned, and we've mentioned a few times so far today, homered on the first pitch of the bottom of the first inning.
Definitely have to be careful of him again.
That made the score 1-0 Gatemen, where we still currently stand. The pitch from Marr, in there for a called strike. Jeremy Idens in his season at UCLA hit .350, 76 hits. The 0-1 from Marr. Breaking ball misses away. 1-1 the count. Well, how about this from Jeremy Idens? Of those 76 hits, 28 were for extra bases, and he had 5 triples on the year. At as many triples as he did long balls, has some serious speed in his arsenal. Takes the 1-1 pitch down low. 2-1 the count. Travis Marr missing with the changeup. Well, the rest of the infield now back with 2 outs. Playing fairly deep in left field is Matthew Barefoot. The pitch from Marr. Fastball in there for a called strike, and the count now 2-2.
If Mark can keep this at 1-0, this would be huge for the Harbor Hawks going up in the top of the third.
Wasn't able to minimize damage in his first outing against Chatham, but has a chance to do so here. Runners on second and third with 2 outs, 2-2 count. Pitch to Idens, swinging a ground ball through the left side and into left field for a base hit. Park scores. Millis coming around from third and scores standing up. Jeremy Idens making his presence felt early on in this ball game with a 2-out, 2 RBI single to put the Gatemen up 3-0, responsible for all 3 RBIs in this ball game.
Marr there with a good pitch, just unable to get it is Wenzel over at shortstop, just shaded slightly over right near second base there. Harbor Hawks are now down 3-0. They got to get out of this inning still, only down by 3.
So Idens now idles at first. First pitch from Mar to Valenzuela off the mid of Travis Mar, comes off his body, but fielded by Braden Como on the ricochet out by second base, throws the first in time for the third out, and that'll do it for the Gatemen in the bottom of the second inning, but not before Jeremy Idens comes through with a 2-out single to plate an additional 2 runs and make it 3-0 Gatemen. Harbor Hawks come to bat in the top of the third right after this when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back here inside Spillane Field for the top half of the third inning. The 9-1 and 2 hitters due up for the Harbor Hawks. As Brady Lindsley will see the right-hander in Ryan Garcia for the first time tonight. The left-handed hitter out of Oklahoma takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. Well, Brady Lindsley comes into the day 4 for 18, hitting .222 on the year. The next pitch from the right-hander in Garcia, high again on a fastball, 2-0 the count. Well, Lindsley had a big 2 RBI single in Wednesday's game against the Brewster Whitecaps out at Stony Brook Field. That was part of a 4 spot that the Harbor Hawks put up as Lindsley swings at the next pitch and sends it foul behind home plate and off the netting. 2-1 count to today's catcher for the Harbor Hawks. Lindsley in his year at Oklahoma, he hit .262 with 26 RBIs, had a lone long ball to his name. Now the 2-1 from Garcia, swinging a high pop-up down the left field line and foul, getting out of play. Austin Shenton gave it a look going back and off to his right, but just watched it sail onto the walkway just beyond the confines of Spillane Field. Count now 2-2 to Brady Lindsley. Looking to get things started for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the third. They trail 3-0. Fastball way high from the right-hander in Garcia, taken from Lindsley as the count is now full. Lindsley with 4 RBIs on the year. As Garcia quickly steps off, wipes his eyes with his elbow in his jersey, but now back on with the 3-2 to Lindsley, misses high and away for ball 4, and the Oklahoma catcher and Brady Lindsley draws a walk to start the top half of the third for Hyannis. 4th runner of the night to reach for Hyannis, and Davis Wenzel steps up to the plate as the Harbor Hawks turn their lineup over. Wenzel got things started off with a bang in the top of the first as he hit a double deep into left center field that one-hopped the wall. Although the Harbor Hawks couldn't muster anything further after that as the next 3 batters were retired. Wenzel takes a first pitch fastball right at the knees for strike 1. So Wenzel, as I mentioned earlier, has 11 walks so far in this Cape League summer. As Garcia goes from the set, breaking ball to Wenzel, swung on and chopped foul down the third base side. He's third in the entire Cape Cod Baseball League in terms of walks coming into today with 11. But here's this for you. Leads the entire league in doubles. Davis Wenzel with 5 doubles on the year, now 6 after that one tonight. Throws over to first. Brady Lindsley with a short lead, gets back easily standing up. Being held on at first by Lyle Lockhart Jr. Lockhart, the Houston first baseman. He grounded out to Wenzel in the bottom of the first. That ended the inning. But Wenzel, the hitter at the plate now. Garcia from the set. The pitch to Wenzel, swinging a foul behind home plate. Count still at 0-2 to the Baylor shortstop. Wenzel quickly stepped out of the box, took a couple of practice swings, now back in. Garcia checks the runner at first, now throws over. Lindsley back safely again. Well, Davis Wenzel, another one of these Harbor Hawks players who had a spectacular 2018 season, hitting .310 with 8 long balls at Baylor. The pitch to Wenzel, taken in the dirt, chested up by Millis for ball 1. Along with Wenzel having a great year, as he was named to the All-Big 12 first team, his team and the Bears had a successful season as well. 37-21 record. Now the 2-2 to Wenzel, swinging a ground ball through the left side and off the diving glove of Ryan Kreidler into left field for a base hit. Wenzel on at first, moving station to station as Brady Lindsley down to second, as Davis Wenzel picks up his second hit in as many at-bats, and the Harbor Hawks have 2 men on with nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning. Well, Wenzel just continuing to get on base. The 11 walks to his name, 2 hits tonight. He came into the day hitting just .222. But if you were out here every day to watch these Harbor Hawks play baseball, it would just sail right over your head, that stat. Braden Como takes a couple of deep breaths outside the batter's box. Now steps in as the catcher and Millis squats back down. Home plate umpire calls play. Lyle Lockhart playing behind Davis Wenzel at first. From the set is Garcia. Como shows bunt, but pops it foul off the screen behind home plate. Runners stay put. But a bunt here would make sense from head coach Chad Gassman, as there's 2 runners on with nobody out. And it's still a 3-0 score in favor of the Gatemen. So a successful bunt would put 2 runners in scoring position for the heart of the order. Como wiggling that bat above his right shoulder, now squares to bunt again, pulls back as the pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Austin Shenton, the Gateman third baseman, playing right on the line and in on the grass. Lyle Lockhart doing more of the same over at first base. With the middle infielders back, Ryan Kreidler shifted over up the middle to his left. Como shows bunt again and pulls back. Pitch in the dirt, 2-1 the count. Chad Gassman giving Como a couple of signs as he puts his left foot out of the batter's box. Como grounded out to second in his first at-bat, but it was a productive out as it moved Wenzel down to third. Swings at that next pitch and sends it foul behind home plate. 2-2 the count now to the Rice second baseman. So it looks like Como will be done attempting to bunt, especially now with 2 strikes. Harbor Hawks still looking for their first run of the night. 3-0 here in the top of the 3rd. The pitch from Garcia misses way upstairs. 3-2 the count now to the hitter in Como. Garcia's already issued a walk this inning. That was followed up by a single from Wenzel. He sets and checks the runners. The 3-2 pitch, a swing and a pop-up down the first base side, and it gets foul out of play. Drew Millis gave a little bit of chase from back behind the backstop. Lyle Lockhart more of the same over at first, but they just watch it sail out of play. Time is called as the home plate umpire dusts off the plate. Como out of the box. Braden sporting a .310 average on the young summer. 13 for 42. Has 3 RBIs to his name. Looking to pick up his 4th right here as he's now swinging away. The next pitch from Garcia, swinging a pop-up foul, out of play on the first base side again. Millis giving chase again, right up along the fence of his Wareham Gateman dugout, but watched it get into the stands. A couple of kids chasing after it here at Spillane Field. On deck, the number 3 hitter in Seth Gray out of Wright State. But the count's still full to Braden Como. Fouled off the last 2 pitches. Now digs in and ready again. 3-2 from Garcia, swinging a fly ball down the right field line and fouls. This one stays in the yard, but Idens couldn't get there in time, along with the first baseman Lockhart. So Como putting together a good at-bat here. A prolonged one for sure. But looking to make it a productive one as Lindsley stands at second and Davis Wenzel's on at first. Garcia checks the runners. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball over to Ryan Kreidler at short, coming off to his right. The throw to third is in time to get Brady Lindsley on the force play. As Como's on at first, which is now a 6-5 fielder's choice in your scorebook, as Kreidler had to come off to his right side to field the ball. He actually fielded it glove side, made a little bit of an unorthodox turn, but made a strong throw to Shenton at third, covering the back to get the runner in Lindsley. So an out now on the board for the Harbor Hawks. Still runners on first and second, as it's now Como at first and Wenzel at second. Garcia from the set, and the first pitch to Seth Gray, a swing and a miss, and a fastball right at the letters. Gray struck out swinging in his first at-bat. That came in the bottom of the first. He had Davis Wenzel on third, but couldn't drive him around. Now he has the leadoff hitter in Wenzel at second base here in the top of the third. He takes a strike right at the knees. Count quickly, 0-2. So Seth Gray has cooled off a little bit in the past few games. His average was sitting around 350 for a while in the early going of the summer. He's now 9 for 33. The pitch, fastball in the dirt, chested up by the catcher Millis. Runners stay put. Count moves to 1-2. Drew Millis gives a little bit of a sign to the middle infield. Now squats back behind home plate. Gray digging in, his front foot moving up and down, bat wiggling above his left shoulder. 1-2, swung on and popped foul behind home plate and out of play. New ball is given to the pitcher in Garcia, who steps off the mound, rubs it a little bit. We've seen him do that every time he gets a new ball. Not uncommon for pitchers to do that exact thing. Makes it a little bit more comfortable in their own hands. As the 1-2 pitch, off speed in the dirt, gets through the wickets of the catcher Millis, but not too far, right behind him as the runners stay put. Smothered it right away to keep Wenzel in second and Como at first. Time's called. Millis looked a little shaken up after that one, but it tells the home plate umpire he's okay. Seth Gray sits at a 2-2 count. 1 out in the top of the third. Score still 3-0 in favor of Wareham. The 2-2 from Garcia, swinging a high pop-up over to the third baseman, Shenton, coming in on it, moving just a couple of feet in, and makes the catch easily for out number 2. So Seth Gray sat down for the second time tonight. Also second time with runners in scoring position for him in this ball game. As it brings up the cleanup hitter in Matthew Barefoot out of Campbell. Campbell popped up to Austin Shenton over at third base. That ended the top of the first inning. He now digs in with 2 runners on and 2 out. Ryan Garcia going from the set in the infield back. His first pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Chested up by Millis. Gets away from him a little bit down the first base line. But the runners stay put. Wenzel thought about it, but quickly retreats back to second. Matthew Barefoot, 11 RBIs on the summer. That leads the Harbor Hawks ball club by 4. Pedro Pages coming in at second in that category with 7. Barefoot looking to pick up 1 or 2 more here as he takes a breaking ball up high for ball 2. Well, if you think Barefoot's having a good summer so far on the Cape, as he's currently sitting with a 366 average, you should go look at what he did at Campbell this season. The 2-0 pitch to the right-handed hitter swung on and fouled back behind the screen. In his season at Campbell, he hit 364, 8 home runs, 79 hits, and stole 33 bases with a 1069 OPS. We've seen him hit first for this Hyannis ball club. We've seen him hit third, and now has spent the last couple of games in the cleanup spot. Garcia checks the runners. The next pitch to Barefoot, swinging a line drive into the gap in right center field for a base hit. Fielded on a hop by the right fielder in Iden, but Wenzel coasting home from second, and the Harbor Hawks are on the board in the top of the third as Matthew Barefoot comes through with his 12th RBI of the summer. He's on at first, Como at second, 3-1 Gateman the score. Well, if you're the Harbor Hawks ball club, nobody you'd rather have up in that situation than Matthew Barefoot. 2 outs in the inning, runners on, punches one into the right center field gap. Wenzel with his speed had no trouble scoring from second. Jeremy Idens got to it quickly, moving off to his right and fielding it on a hop, but Wenzel was already halfway home. Of course, the runners were running with 2 outs, so that gave him a little bit of a head start. Garcia's first pitch to Pages is taken for a strike on a fastball. Pages an 0 for 1 day, grounded out to short in his lone at bat in the second. The team's second leader in RBIs now at the plate. Looking to catch Barefoot a little bit in that category as he takes a ball upstairs. A handful of those RBIs from Pedro Pages have come within the last couple of games as he hit a 3-run home run back on Tuesday night at home against these Wareham Gatemen at McKeon Park. He swings and fouls the next pitch off the chest protector of Millis. Count moves to 1-2. But that 3-run home run against the Gatemen on Tuesday went off the scoreboard out in right field behind the fence at McKeon Park, that being a 3-run shot. Then in Wednesday's game against the Brewster Whitecaps, Pages came through with a 2 RBI double in what was part of a 4-run inning for the Harbor Hawks. That happened in the top of the 5th against the Brewster Whitecaps and their left-handed reliever in Chris Murphy. Murphy plays his ball at San Diego. But back here to this ball game, the 1-2 pitch to Pedro Pages is taken down low for ball 2. 2-2 the count. 2 runners on. Como at second. Matthew Barefoot at first. Hyannis trailing by 2. Garcia from the set. The 2-2 pitch, a swing and a foul off Pedro Pages inside the batter's box as he stays alive in the at-bat. Pedro Pages just a few weeks off of hand surgery. That cut his season short at Florida Atlantic. Got off to a little bit of a slow start in this young summer. That could be part of the reason why, but he seems to have put that in the rearview mirror as he now is hitting .310 on the season. He takes a ball in the dirt, blocked by Millis. Runners stay put, and the count moves to 3-2. Runners will be taking off with the pitch. The infield playing back. Pages pretty steady in that right-handed side of the box, bat wiggling above his shoulder. Payoff pitch is swung on and fouled out of play behind home plate. So we've seen these Harbor Hawks We've seen these Harbor Hawks hitters really do a good job fighting off some of these pitches from Garcia in this inning, totaling up his pitch count to say the least. He currently sits at 79 pitches. Como fouled off a handful of foul balls, and his at-bat worked a 3-2 count. Barefoot fought off a couple before his RBI single to right center. And Pages fights one off right there with a 3-2 count. To keep the count right there, runners taking off again with the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Pedro Pages punches out for the third out of the top of the third inning, but not before the Harbor Hawks push across a run on a Matthew Barefoot RBI single. 3-1 your score through 2.5 frames, and we'll be back right after this here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Part of the order due up for the Wareham Gatemen in the bottom of the third inning. Austin Shenton, Bryant Packard, and Lyle Lockhart Jr. as the Gatemen and Harbor Hawks are currently locked in a 3-1 ball game. Travis Marr goes from the windup. His first pitch to Shenton misses down low. Austin Shenton lined out to short in his first at bat, but still currently sits with an average of over 420 on the season. Make that 413 as he takes a ball from Travis Marr. 2-0 the count to the left-handed hitter in Shenton out of Florida Atlantic as he swings and sends that pitch foul on a high pop-up down the left side, now to play. Shenton 19 for 46 on the young summer. And this is a kid who just a little over a year ago was playing ball in community college. He swings at the next pitch and sends a ground ball down the third baseline, past the diving backhand to Seth Gray and into left field. Shenton takes a hard turn around first, but now retreats back to the bag as he checks in with the first hit of the bottom of the third for the Wareham Gatemen. Leadoff man reaches. Shenton records his first hit of the night, and it'll bring up the cleanup hitter in Bryant Packard. So Shenton continuing to stay scorching hot, moves his average back up to 426 now on the summer. As the left-handed hitter in Packard digs into the left side. Marr's first pitch is a called strike. As I was mentioning a minute ago, Austin Shenton played his community college baseball at Bellevue College out in Washington a little over a year ago. He hails from the state of Washington. The city of Bellingham is the next pitch from Marr. Misses outside to the hitter in Packard. But Shenton, in his season at Bellevue College, he hit .395 with 7 homers and 56 RBIs. That garnered a lot of looks from Division I schools as Packard swings and misses through an off-speed pitch from Marr. Count now 1-2. So after that year at community college, moved over to Florida International, where he hit .344 with 9 homers, 29 RBIs, 20 extra base hits. The 1-2 to the hitter in Packard misses away, 2-2 the count. So Shenton not skipping a beat from community college to Division I ball, and now here out to the Cape League. You want to go back even further than that to his high school days at Bellingham High School. He hit .472 with a .700 on-base percentage. As time is called, stepping out of the box is Packard. Clicks his cleats with the bat, now back into the box. The pitch from Mars, swinging a line drive into left field, coming in as barefoot, makes the catch on the run, retreating back to first is Shenton, and Travis Marr gets the first out of the bottom of the third. That makes it a 1-for-2 day now for Packard, who singled in the first. Sat down for the first time tonight is the number 5 hitter, Lyle Lockhart Jr. stepping in, another left-handed hitter. So Austin Shenton, to wrap things up, plain and simple, the hottest hitter in the Cape this summer up to this point. Did more of the same at FIU and doing it again out here on the islands as he dives back to first on an attempted pickoff from Travis Marr. Lockhart grounded out to short in the first inning. That ended the inning. Wenzel fielded it and stepped on the bag as the Houston first baseman watches a strike go by from Travis Marr on a fastball for strike one. Lockhart in his season at Houston, .297 with 44 RBIs. He just finished his sophomore year there as he swings at the next pitch from Marr and fouls it off his chest inside the batter's box. Count now runs to 0-2. Hitter and Lockhart steps out, receiving a couple of signals from his first base dugout. But Travis Marr yet to record a scoreless frame in this ball game. Allowed 1 run in the first on a Jeremy Iden solo home run on the first pitch of the inning. Then 2 runs in the second, coming on a 2 RBI single, again from Jeremy Idens. Responsible for all 3 Gateman RBIs in this game. Marr steps off and throws over to first again. Shenton back safely. Gets his jersey fairly dirty, to say the least, and gets it dirty with the gray gravel on the infield here at Spillane Field. Something you won't see at any of the other Cape League fields or really anywhere else that I've ever seen, to say the least. Fastball misses just outside to the hitter in Lockhart as the count now 1-2. But of course, most infields you'll see the classic dirt, which Wareham actually has in the batter's box, or you'll see infield turf at a lot of ball fields these days as Shenton dives back safely again on an attempted pickoff. But all these players will tell you about the gravel here, something they have to get used to say the least. A field condition like they've never played on before. A ground ball right to the first baseman, Pedro Pages, takes it on a hop from the hitter, and Lockhart steps on the bag for the easy out. Moving down to second is Austin Shenton. But Lyle Lockhart with a productive out as a ground ball to the right side advances the runner. And it'll bring up the hitter in Paven Parks. He fooled the hitter in Lockhart with an off-speed pitch, rolled over on it, grounding it right to the position of Pedro Pages. Barely had to move a muscle to make the play. Pages now moves back behind first base with 2 outs. Brady Lindsley just concluded a little conference with his pitcher in Travis Marr at the mound. He jogs back behind home plate and squats down. Play's now called by the home plate umpire. Marr from the set. Kicks and fires the first pitch. In there for strike one to the hitter in Parks. Parks singled and scored in the second inning, making his second plate appearance of the game here. That single in the second was his first hit of the summer. He's now 1 for 5. Takes a fastball in the dirt, chested up by Brady Lindsley. The runner in Austin Shenton stays put at second. Count 1-1. So Paven Parks just a handful of at-bats on his young summer, but hit .285 with 52 RBIs in his junior season at Kent State. He's the designated hitter tonight, but is usually an infielder, can also pitch as he's brushed off the plate with a fastball. Count now 2-1. And it's safe to say that Parks had more success at the plate than he did on the mound, as his pitching stats show a 10.80 ERA in just 5 innings of work, made 5 appearances, but opponents hit .350 against him. The 2-1 from Travis Marr from the set. Fastball misses inside again. Count now 3 balls and 1 strike. Haven Parks looking to cash in with his first RBI of the summer. FIU infielder Austin Shenton leading off a second. The pitch from Marr. Fastball down low for ball 4. Haven Parks draws a 2-out walk to put runners on first and second for the Gatemen, bringing up Ryan Kreidler. Kreidler an 0-for-1 day. The UCLA shortstop grounded out to Pedro Pages in the second inning. But Kreidler, the last time the Harbor Hawks traveled off the Cape into Spillane Field, had a 3 RBI double in the bottom of the first inning. That was part of a 4 spot from the Wareham Gatemen. That double was off Harbor Hawks started that day, Mike Mockma. Kreidler takes a first pitch breaking ball from Travis Marr right at the knees for strike 1. That double from Kreidler was tattooed out to right center field. It one-hopped the wall and therefore ended Mike Mockma's day. Lasted just 2/3 of an inning. But Marr with an 0-1 count to Kreidler. Fastball misses down and outside. Shenton stays put at second. More of the same from Haven Parks at first. Kreidler having a much better summer up to this point than he did at his season at UCLA, hitting .294. He hit just .222 out at Westwood this season as he takes a strike on an off-speed pitch. Kreidler 36 hits on the year, but just a .681 OPS. Hit .241 in his freshman year. For Ryan with that wide stance in the right-hander side of the box, taking up almost the entire chalk as he watches a pitch down in the dirt from Travis Marr. The count's now 2-2. An unusual stance from Kreidler, to say the least. You'll see most hitters stand about shoulder width apart, but Kreidler just more comfortable with his legs spread farther apart. An old-timer stance, to say the least, as he steps out of the box and calls time. He's got 2 runners on with 2 out. Score still 3-1 Gatemen in the top of the third. Marr sets the 2-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball right to Davis Wenzel. Takes a step to his right, goes short way to Braden Como at second for out number 3. And that'll do it for the Gatemen in the bottom of the third. They put 2 on base, but can't push any across, as the Harbor Hawks will come to bat in the top of the fourth, looking to chip away at this 3-1 Wareham lead when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, Chris Lucy here to take you around the Cape before we get you back in for the action with the Harbor Hawks trailing 3-1 against the Wareham Gatemen here from Spillane Field. Out in Bourne, the Brewster Whitecaps just cannot catch a break. Brewster has dropped 5 straight and trails the Braves 10-0 in the bottom of the fourth. Second baseman Tyler Fitzgerald paces the Braves right now. The Louisville product is 2 for 3 with a pair of RBI tonight. Over at Gov Fuller Field, the Kettleers lead the Commodores 6-1 in the bottom of the sixth. That's out in Falmouth. Catuit's own Luke Chevalier has shut out Falmouth for the past 2 innings. The East Sturgis Charter product grew up going to Kettleers skills camp and scored a temp contract with Catuit. He's been making good on it so far. Chevalier has struck out 6 in 8 2/3 innings pitched on the summer. A 4-run bottom of the second inning has the Firebirds on top 6-2 at Eldridge Park against the Mariners in the Eastern Division. Spencer Steer has Orleans on a roll. The Oregon infielder has driven in 3 runs with a 2-run homer and a sac fly. Wrapping up in Chatham, the A's and Sox are still scoreless in the bottom of the third. That is your Around the League update. I'm Chris Lucy. This Around the League update has been brought to you by Chatham Bars Inn, member of the leading hotels of the world, Chatham Bars Inn. Back to you, Lyle.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We're back inside Spillane Field for the top half of the 4th inning. New pitcher on hand for the Wareham Gatemen, left-hander Easton Lucas, 6'4", 180 pounds. Just finished up his redshirt sophomore season at Pepperdine University, where he threw 35 innings, went 2-3 with a 4.11 ERA, made 5 starts and 16 appearances, walked 16, struck out 29. His first pitch, the left-handed hitter Trevor Hover is taken upstairs for ball 1. Hover so far today, 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the second. A lefty-lefty matchup on hand as Lucas comes home as a called strike by the home plate umpire right at the knees to Hover. Makes the count 1-1.
Hover trying to get on base here, being down by 2 runs here in the top of the 4th.
Harborhawks had a little bit of a rally going in the third. Push 1 across as Hover swings and sends a line drive into center field for a base hit. Fielded and thrown back in by the center fielder in Hunter as Trevor Hover picks up his 7th hit of the young summer and is on at first with nobody out to start the top of the 4th. He squared that one up, to say the least. That was on a missile out to center field.
He's sure to getting a big, good piece on it. It was practically right down the plate there to shot it out to center field. Now as a leadoff guy on with Todd Lott up at the plate.
Lott adjusting his batting gloves outside the box. It'll be his first time seeing the left-hander Easton Lucas. Lucas has thrown 8 innings on the Cape this summer. Has a 1.12 ERA coming into today. Staring down Trevor Hover at first. The first pitch to Lott misses in the dirt, picked out of the dirt by Millis, and the count now 1-0. Lott doubled in the second inning. 1 of 2 doubles for the Harborhawks today, but was thrown out at home on a Tommy Jew single as Hover dives back to the bag on an attempted pickoff from Easton Lucas. His B move, to say the least, a soft move over to first as he stepped off the mound and lobbed it over to the first baseman in Lockhart. Now comes home with a pitch to Lott as he swings and sends a high pop-up foul behind home plate and out of play. So Todd Lott looking to record his 2nd hit in as many at-bats. On the season, Lott has 3 home runs. That's tied for a team lead with Matthew Barefoot. Those two have 6 of the 8 combined as Lucas throws over to first. Hover back with a short lead. But I'd say that was his A move for sure. Had all types of wheels and bells spinning on that move. Look to the mound, then look back over to first. Leg flying in the air, but Hover wasn't fooled by it. Comes back home with a pitch to Lott, misses away for ball 2. Lott sitting with a 2-1 count. Austin Chinton playing just behind the bag at third. Middle infielder's back. The 2-1 pitch to Lott, swinging a high pop-up into short right field. Coming in on it is Idens. Going back is Valenzuela, calling off Idens to make the catch behind the shoulder and off to his left. So Zahid Valenzuela taking charge on that high pop-up. Idens had the better angle coming in, but Valenzuela fights off the sun and settled under it, making the catch just over his left shoulder for the 2nd out.
Definitely a tough play there.
I should say the first out of the inning. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, there's definitely a tough play out in right field there as the sun now is starting to kind of glare towards right field. Good teamwork, though.
Man on first for Tommy Jew, the UCSB center fielder. Swings at the first pitch and lines it foul behind home plate. Tommy Jew with a 1-for-1 day. He singled in the second, but couldn't come up with the RBI as Todd Lott was thrown out at home on a one-hopped relay from the left fielder in Packard. Lott was out at the plate by about 5 feet on that single. As Jew watches a pitch miss in the dirt, chested up by Millis. Count now sits at 1-1 as the Missouri State product in Drew Millis out to the mound to have a quick word with his pitcher, Easton Lucas. Meeting is adjourned as Millis struts back to the plate. Now squats back behind the dish. Tommy Jew, 4 for 14 on the summer. Average of 286. The pitch to Jew, off speed, misses high and outside. Well, Jew had a magnificent summer last year out in the New England Collegiate Baseball League where he was named the league MVP. Played for the Mystic Schooners. Hover idles off of first. The 2-1 pitch to Jew is fouled off on a breaking ball. Takes a bounce and skips out of play. Caught a couple of fans off guard outside the confines of Spillane Field on the walkway. But it's interesting with Tommy Jew, often you'll see players from the NECBL get called up to the Cape League at some point in the summer, can often be a feeder. But Tommy Jew, despite being named the league MVP, played his entire season there. The pitch is swung on, a looping line drive down the right field line, tails foul. Trevor Hover was on his way to third, but now will retreat back. Jew walks his way back to the batter's box. Was just inches away from his second hit of the night. And Hover would have been on at third. It would have been runners on the corners with one out. But Easton Lucas catching a break there. Tommy Jew sports the number 13 on his back for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Flips his bat out toward the pitcher and Lucas a couple of times. Now wiggling it behind his right shoulder. The pitch, a swing and a miss on a fastball. Jew punches out for the second out of the inning. And Easton Lucas records his first strikeout of his appearance.
Tommy Jew just unable to get that ball as it kind of came in high at him, a fastball, just unable to catch up to it.
Right at the letters, but cut right through it. Sat down for the first time tonight as Brady Lindsley will step in. He walked in his first at bat. He was the lone man who scored on the, it was Wenzel who scored on the Matthew Barefoot RBI single. Lindsley was later thrown out at second on a fielder's choice from Braden Como. The pitch from Lucas taken for a strike. For one more time, Lindsley was thrown out at third on that fielder's choice. Kreidler had to move off to his right, had no play except at third, where he tossed it over to Shenton to force Lindsley out. And then Wenzel scored on the single from Barefoot. Lindsley swings at that pitch and sends one on a hop to the second baseman, Valenzuela, takes it off the chest and fields it cleanly, throws to first, and Lindsley is retired for out number 3. A lead-off single by Trevor Hover goes no further as the next 3 batters make out for the Harbor Hawks. Through 3.5 innings of play, the Gatemen still lead by a score of 3-1. We'll be back right after this when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Travis Marr's day is done for the Harbor Hawks after 3 innings of work, as Adam Elliott, the left-hander out of Louisville, comes in the bottom of the 4th inning to face the 8-9-1 of the Gateman lineup, starting off with Missouri State catcher Drew Millis. Takes a first pitch fastball down and away. Final line for Marr: 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, just 1 of them earned, walked 1, and struck out a pair. Elliott working from the windup. He kicks and fires. The 1-0 pitch to Millis, swings at it and sends it foul behind home plate. Pops it up right over the press box to move the count to 1-1. So each respective starter going 3 innings tonight. Ryan Garcia, of course, done for the night as well, as Easton Lucas came on in the top of the 4th. Garcia's final line: 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, just 1 run allowed, walked 1, and struck out a trio. Elliott, the 1-1 to Millis, swinging a high fly ball into shallow right center field. Charging in is Trevor Hauver, dives and can't get there. Sinks in on a hop, and Drew Millis picks up his first hit of the night, reaches base for the 2nd time. Leadoff man is aboard for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 4th.
That was a tough play in between the second baseman, shortstop, center fielder, and right fielder. They all converged onto the ball, unable to get it.
Como going back for it, as it was a very short fly ball into right center. Trevor Hauver having to go a long way out from his spot. Hauver actually had the best chance at it, as it fell just right in front of him. A diving effort, not enough. But Millis on it first, as the number 9 hitter, Skylar Hunter, steps in. He struck out in his lone at bat so far today. The first pitch from Elliott squares around for a bunt and a called strike, as he doesn't pull back in time. Corner infielders in Seth Gray and Pedro Pages both charging in on the play. Gray now right on the lip of the infield grass. Pages still holding on the runner, as Elliott throws over to first. Back safely as Millis. Well, Adam Elliott, a 2-way player out of Louisville, but more of his success this summer has come on the mound. Has not let up an earned run in his 6 2/3 innings coming into tonight. The pitch to Hunter is a fastball swung on and fouled out of play down the right side. 0-2 the count to the hitter in Hunter, who sits with an average this summer of just 130. Just 7 hits in 54 at-bats. Elliott from the set. The pitch to Hunter, swung on and fouled away again out of play. Hunter, another rare commodity in terms of a batting stance for the Wareham Gatemen. We mentioned Kreidler's long stance, but maybe not so much a stance, but Hunter, no batting gloves. The 1-2 from Elliott misses just low on a fastball as the count evens.
Elliott really wanted that pitch there, kind of just stood in shock.
Count actually sits at 1-2. Scoreboard was a little off here at Spillane Field, as Elliott staring down the runner at first. Now comes home to Hunter, swings at it and sends a high pop-up right back to the pitcher's mound. Elliott trying to call everybody off, but Seth Gray steps onto the pitcher's mound and makes the catch, coming in and off to his left for out number 1. So Elliott, with a little bit of a smile after that one, stares down Seth Gray. All friendly gestures, of course, but unlikely that you'll see a pitcher make a play on that. Almost all head coaches try to stay away from making their pitchers catch pop flies, to say the least, as the infielders not only coming in on it, but probably athletically a little more fine-tuned as the runner takes off for second. Throw down from Lindsley, gets past Como and into center field. Down to second as Drew Millis thought about turning for third, but stayed put, as the Gatemen have a runner in scoring position with 1 out, as Lindsley's throw one-hopped Como, but couldn't chest it up, got by him and into center field.
It's always funny to see the pitcher always try to catch the fly ball in the infield, and everyone has to call him off. It is very funny.
And you saw, and that pop fly was basically right back to Elliott. He wasn't even going to have to move a muscle if he was going to make that catch, but Seth Gray, of course, calling him off. The proper thing for the infielder to do.
Absolutely.
The 1-0 pitch to the hitter in Jeremy Idens is taken upstairs for ball 2. So Idens watched the pitch in the dirt that Lindsley tried to throw down to second on the first pitch to the runner in Millis, and then takes another ball there. Sits at a 2-0 count, which is not what you want to see, and I think Brady Lindsley knows just that as he calls time and trots out to the mound to have a word with Adam Elliott. Well, Jeremy Idens, if you're just joining us, 2 for 2 today, 3 RBIs, hit a home run on the first pitch of the bottom of the first inning out to deep left center field, and then produced a 2 RBI single just an inning later in the bottom of the second, which scored Drew Millis, who currently stands at second as we speak, along with Paven Parks out of Kent State. But Jeremy Idens with another RBI opportunity at hand. As the meeting is over, Lindsley back behind the plate, and he extends his right arm out to his far side, and it looks like they're going to intentionally walk Jeremy Idens as ball 3 is thrown by Elliott. And Lindsley standing up, doing more of the same here. Sets up outside. Elliott fires over. Ball 4 on a fastball, and Jeremy Idens trots down to first on an intentional walk to put runners on first and second with 1 out. Now, Rob, of course, Jeremy Idens, part of that has to be the day he's had up to this point, and they want to make somebody else beat them in this Gateman lineup, as Idens is responsible for all 3 RBIs. But along with that, the double play ball is now in play with 1 out and runners at first and second.
Absolutely. I think it's a statistical move, I think, for the Harbor Hawks as well. Obviously, Idens has a very big day, but also because of the double play.
2 runners on for the number 2 hitter, and Saheed Valenzuela, he sends at the first pitch and swings and sends it right to Davis Wenzel at short, steps on the bag for 1 and fires over to first in time to get Valenzuela on the 6-3 double play from Davis Wenzel to prevent any further damage from the Harbor Hawks, from the Gatemen in the bottom of the 4th. 3-1 still your score in favor of Wareham here at Spillane Field. We'll be back just shortly here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back at Spillane Field for the top half of the fifth inning as the Harbor Hawks send their top of the lineup to the plate to face left-handed reliever Easton Lucas. Davis Wenzel digs in as Lucas fires home, and Wenzel takes a first pitch strike right on the inside corner. 3-1 your score as we get things started in the top of the fifth. Wareham scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second, and Hyannis 1 in the third as Wenzel swings and sends a high pop-up foul and out of play down the left side. So quickly an 0-2 count to the Baylor shortstop, who so far today, 2 hits and 2 at-bats. Doubled in the first, singled in the third. Also came home to score on the Matthew Barefoot RBI single. Easton from the windup. The 0-2 to Wenzel, swinging a line drive foul down the left field line just to the left of the bag. Austin Shenton gave it a look, but didn't stretch out his glove. Too far out of his reach as Wenzel resets, takes a minute out of the box. Lifts his left leg up a little bit, wiggles his bat, and now steps back in. Lucas gets his sign from the catcher, Drew Millis. He kicks and fires. The 0-2, fastball down low for ball 1. Easton Lucas gave up a leadoff hit to Trevor Hoover to start the top of the fourth inning, but went on to retire the next 3 hitters. Now the 1-2 pitch to Wenzel, swinging a pop-up foul out of play, just over the first base dugout and out of play. The Davis Wenzel, with his 2 hits today, up to 239 on the year. He's an on-base machine with his 11 walks, garnering his everyday leadoff spot for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Watches a 1-2 pitch inside, brushes him off the plate a little bit as the count evens. Wenzel looking to pick up his 3rd hit of the night. Lucas from the windup, the 2-2 swing and a miss. Wenzel cuts right through an off-speed pitch for strike 3 for out number 1 of the top of the 5th.
Wenzel unable to catch up to that ball. So far, Wareham today really has had these Harbor Hawk hitters off balance.
Second strikeout of the night for Easton Lucas as he's set to face Braden Como for the first time. Como's grounded out twice. Once on a productive out in the first inning to move Wenzel to third after that first inning double. Another on a 6-5 fielder's choice as Como swings at the first pitch and sends a high fly ball into short right field. Coasting under it is Jeremy Idens. Makes the play easily for out number 2. So 2 outs in the last 2 pitches for Easton Lucas, making his way through a quick inning against this top half of the Harbor Hawks order. Seth Gray steps in, also with an 0 for 2 day. He struck out and popped up to third. His average currently sits at 265. It's pretty similar to what he hit at Wright State this season as he takes a pitch low and outside for ball 1. At Wright State, Seth Gray hit 267. The left-hander in Lucas comes home with the next pitch, a breaking ball right at the knees for strike 1. Seth Gray didn't look too happy about that one. Looked like he muttered a couple of words to himself, but he's back into the box with an even 1-1 count. The delivery from Lucas. That off-speed pitch misses just away. So Gray manning third base tonight. We've seen him play a little bit of third. We've also seen him in the designated hitter's role a lot as of late. 2-1 pitch, fastball way high and away. Gray finds himself into a hitter's count at 3-1. Lucas gets his sign and out from the windup. The 3-1 pitch misses off the zone outside for ball 4. Seth Gray draws a 2-out walk. First man aboard for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 5th.
Good patience there by Gray, being able to get that 2-out walk. Hopefully, can try to get something going here for the Harbor Hawks.
And they have the right man to get things going, and Matthew Barefoot out of Campbell, who's already punched an RBI single into right center field today. Scored Wenzel from second. Coming back in the top of the third inning was the lone run for the Harbor Hawks. They currently still trail by 2, score of 3-1. First pitch to Barefoot, and off speed, misses upstairs. Gray with about a 1.5 lead at first. Fairly short, not even outside the lip of the infield at Spillane, as Barefoot takes a fastball high for ball 2. Millis trots out to the mound to have a couple of words with his left-handed pitcher. But Matthew Barefoot currently hitting .381 on the summer. He's got 3 home runs to his name. $11 RBIs coming into today, that is, until that RBI single made it 12. Barefoot also has 3 doubles on the year. The 2-0 from Lucas, right down central for strike 1. Barefoot taking all the way as the count now moves to 2-1. So after retiring the first 2 hitters, Easton Lucas struggled a little bit with his command in the last at-bat to Seth Gray, kind of all over the zone. As the next pitch to Barefoot's taken up high for ball 3, a back pick to first by Millis, sliding in safely Seth Gray, tag applied late by the first baseman Lyle Lockhart. Barefoot now finds himself in a hitter's count. 3-1, 2 outs. A man on, 3-1, still the score in the top of the 5th. Lucas from the set, staring down Seth Gray at first. The pitch, called strike 2 on a fastball right at the letters. Full count with 2 outs. Seth Gray will be running with the pitch. Infield playing back. Jeremy Idens well off the right field line, playing over toward right center. The set from Lucas. Throws over to first. Seth Gray dives back safely. Count still at 3-2, and Seth Gray's eyes lit up a little bit on that one, as Easton Lucas definitely has a solid pickoff move over to first. And it's one that can throw some runners off too. We mentioned it the last inning, but he's got so many different moving parts to that move. Looks toward the plate, kicks the leg up high, now kicks his leg and fires the 3-2 to Matthew Barefoot, misses inside for ball 4. Barefoot trots down to first, back-to-back walks issued by Easton Lucas, and the Harbor Hawks have men on first and second with 2 out.
Back-to-back walks, as you said, Lyle, and a huge opportunity for the Harbor Hawks to cut into this lead.
And they've got Pedro Pages stepping up to the plate. Hitless today, but has been scorching hot as of late. We mentioned earlier the 3-run home run against the Wareham Gatemen back on Tuesday at home, and the RBI double at Stony Brook Field against Brewster. The Pages is due, and he's got 2 men on. Lucas checks the runners. The first pitch, breaking ball in there for strike 1. Pages certainly wasn't looking breaking ball on that pitch. Planted his left leg way early and just sat on it the rest of the way through. Count 0-1, sun starting to set and the lights starting to shine bright at Spillane Field. Lucas comes home, misses upstairs for ball 1. Trevor Hoover waiting on deck. He singled last inning to start the top of the 4th. Pages looking to come up with a 2-out RBI hit here. The 1-1 from Lucas misses away for ball 2. Backhanded just in time by Drew Millis to prevent a pass ball or a wild pitch. Saheed Valenzuela, the Gateman second baseman, shifted up toward the middle, way off to his right, giving Seth Gray a little bit of attention at second base. The pitch to the right-hander in Pages. called strike 2 on a fastball right at the bottom of the zone and smiles a little bit. Also grimaces as he steps out of the box. Didn't look particularly pleased with that call. He asked the home plate umpire, is that as low as it goes? That was right at the bottom of the zone. So 2s across the bottom of the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on base. Time called as Pages takes a minute to reset. Taps his left foot down on the dirt a couple of times. And now digs back in. That bat set perpendicular to his right shoulder. The 2-2, swinging a fly ball down the right field line, hooking foul. Idens can't get there, and Pages gains a new life. Gray and Barefoot were running, and now they retreat back to their respective bags as with 2 outs, they're taking off with any contact. Lucas is off the mound. Pages is out of the box. The left-hander talking a couple of things over with his middle infield. But now he steps back on. Pages back in the box. Lucas gives the FAU first baseman a long stare down, shakes off a couple of signs, now gets one he likes. From the set, the 2-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball foul down the right field line.
Pages having a pretty good at bat here, trying to cut down this lead.
Fouled off 2 straight pitches. Lead still 3-1 in favor of the Gatemen. But the outfield playing very deep. Skylar Hunter way back in center field, an RBI single from Pages. Could be looming with Seth Gray standing on second. The 2-2, swinging a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Lucas turns his body, throws over to first in time for out number 3. So Harbor Hawks strand an additional pair on base. They've left runners on base in every inning so far in this ball game. That now makes it 7 through their first 5 innings on offense. We'll be back right after this for the bottom of the 5th. Wareham still leads 3-1 here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back in the bottom of the 5th. Austin Shetton up to bat for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 5th. They're currently winning 3-1. Adam Elliott back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch from Elliott hits the batter, and that will be a leadoff hit by pitch. And a runner quickly is on in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, Shenton just turning his body and taking that one right off the front shoulder from Adam Elliott. Couldn't locate his first pitch off speed to the number 3 hitter in Shenton, who's currently now 1 for 2 on the day, along with a hit by pitch, but not the way you want to start the inning if you're Adam Elliott. Leadoff man aboard for now the cleanup hitter in the lineup.
Ryan Packard. Up he is currently batting .291 on the season. First pitch, a swing and a miss there by Packard. Elliott throwing that fastball right down the heart of the plate. Quickly up 1-0 in the count. Runner at first taking a healthy lead. Elliott's pitch. That is a ground ball that will get through the first and second baseman. And the runner is going to go all the way to third. He'll be sliding, and there'll be runners on the corners. Nobody out in the bottom of the fifth. Wareham already up 3-1.
And Packard wasting no time against Adam Elliott, taking one right through the right side. Neither Como or Pages anywhere near that one. Of course, Pages was covering first base and holding on the runner in Shenton. So the hitter in Packard finds a hole, punching it right back to Trevor Hoffer in right field for a hard single. And Shenton, he was on his horse on his way to third. Of course, no play over at third base on a relay. But better safe than sorry, as the Gatemen, like you said, Rob, they're threatening again.
Lockhart up now for Wareham. Elliott's going to have to try to get out of this jam. Pitches in just inside. Inside low, did not catch the edge of the strike zone. 1-0 is the count. Runners on the corners and nobody out in the bottom of the fifth. Elliott comes to the set. Steps off. He'll have to reset himself. One-0 pitch. That is about the same exact spot, but call a strike this time. 1-1 count. Runners on the corners with nobody out in the bottom of the fifth. Wareham up 3-1. Wareham has 7 hits to Hyannis is 6, but Hyannis only has 1 run to show it. Pitches in. That is a ground ball to the first. Throws it on a second. That runner comes home. 2 outs, but it is now 4-1. I'll have to describe the play quickly here. A ground ball to the pitcher, Adam Elliott. He threw on to second and then threw on to first for 2 outs, but the runner does score. It is now 4-1.
Yeah, and as soon as Adam Elliott gloved it, it was kind of one of those, hey, look what I found type of ground balls, as it was scorched by the hitter in Lockhart. Tried to look the runner in Shenton back to third, and he froze for a second. But as soon as Elliott turned his body and went to second for the double play, which he succeeded to get, Shenton scored easily.
Which is just inside the Parks.
That's another thing about Shenton, is he's an aggressive base runner. We saw him flying from first to third and then didn't hesitate to score from third on the double play.
Foul ball off the catcher and the home plate umpire, but bounces back of us. Our broadcast position is halfway between home plate and third base. So we get a pretty good view of the field and everything.
You definitely get a good view, but it's along with this gravel infield, which we talked about being one of the most unusual infields that we've ever seen. This is also one of the most unusual broadcast positions we've ever been in.
Sure is. You don't usually see this kind of position here in the Cape Cod League. Usually on the road games, we're behind home plate or we're down a baseline. But this is definitely one of the weirder positions. We have to walk up a ladder to get up here. But you know what? It's a pretty cool position to call a game. That is ball 4 and a 2-out walk. That was another runner on base for Wareham.
Elliott just really couldn't find command of his fastball and that at that. Haven Parks really kind of just had to stand there and watch some pitches go by. Records an easy walk. He's now reached base all 3 times. He's 1 for 1 with 2 free passes. So quickly wrapping up this broadcast position, we're on top of the third base dugout. Wareham built this little wooden, it almost feels like a cage with the netting around us.
Feels like we're at a zoo or something.
Elliott just missed down with a fastball. Is Lindsley out to have a word with them? But yeah, the other thing is we're right above the players. So fortunately or unfortunately for them, whether they like listening to our voices all game long or not, they have to hear everything we say from just about 6 feet under us.
That's very true. Yeah, they can hear us. And we also have our crowd mic down there, and we can hear them too.
Yeah.
So they definitely have some colorful things to say. Greidler up to bat for Wareham. Throws back to first. He'll be safe, though. One of of the things also I'm fascinated about is during the inning that you had off, I was where the scouts were sitting behind home plate. He'll throw down to second. He'll be gone. And the Harbor Hawks do let up a run in the bottom of the fifth. It is now 4-1. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the sixth. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network as I will continue my story.
Magic Media copyright. Magic Media copyright.
Stories are not being told. Stories are not being All right, here we go. Fire up that replay. Sixth here in Wareham. Hover now up. I will have to finish my story about the behind the home plate. That first pitch is in, first strike to Hover. The scouts are right under the broadcast booth in Wareham, and they're also under the fans, and it's a very small space. And there's a piece of glass that's there, and they have to videotape it. And the last time we were here in Wareham, I was there, and a pitch came firing back and hit the piece of glass, and it shattered. But I was okay.
Did it hit anybody?
It did hit David, our scout liaison,
Oh, boy.
David is okay. That's a swing and a miss there by Hover, but he'll be okay. David's a tough guy. He'll be all right. As he's back there tonight, and I'm pretty sure the same exact spot. He might be a little off to the left there, but he'll be all right.
I'm sure he's having some friendly conversations over there with the rest of the scouts.
Sure is. 1-2 pitch to Hover. That's a ball. Here it's a 2-2 count in the top of the sixth. Hyannis is down 4-1. That pitch is foul.
I think that's a pitch Trevor'd like to have back. That was a little bit of a hanging breaking ball from Easton Lucas. It was right at about the belt level. It was just a little bit behind it as he fouled back behind home plate.
2-2 pitch. Another foul. Bangs right off the glass right next to us. Here, everyone is all right, though.
It didn't hit any fans. What I can't figure out is that hit off a window here behind Spillane Field, which is a school, a high school here, and it didn't break the window. Man, those windows must be sturdy.
2-2 pitch. That's a ball, runs the count. Full at 3-2. I think those windows that they probably put in there are definitely made for if a baseball hits it not to crack.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they would have to replace them every year. That's another foul ball that lands just beside of the school. Definitely a weird placement for a ballpark because they also have football here. As they have the football field goals out there, and then they have a softball field just behind it.
I think this is where the old football field used to be.
That's another foul ball.
You know, and Easton Lucas is doing a nice job with his pitch sequence and keeping Trevor Hauber off balance. He started with he's 4 pitches ago, he got a breaking ball that he fouled behind home plate. Then the ball that hit off the glass was a fastball that he was way behind. Got another breaking ball that he was in front of him, fouled off. And now behind a fastball and fouled that off too.
3-2 pitch. That is a ground ball to second baseman. He has it. He'll throw it on to first for the first out, Venezuela. On the play defensively at second.
Well, credit to Hauber for staying disciplined and patient at that at bat, fouling off some pitches like we mentioned. He was behind a couple of fastballs and in front of a couple of breaking balls due to the nice work that Easton Lucas put together in that at bat of keeping Hauber's timing a little bit off balance. He squared up that fastball, but just sent it hardly right on the ground, barely having to move Valenzuela an inch, and had an easy throw to first for the first out.
Todd Lott now up for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch to Lott is low inside. Quickly up 1-0 in the count. Unfortunately, the Harbor Hawks have 6 hits, but they only have 1 run to show for it as they haven't really gotten anything going offensively. That is a little blooper that just goes foul past the first baseman, Lockhart.
Well, you mentioned for Hyannis, their hits and just 1 run. The other thing for them is, I mentioned it right at the end of the top of the 5th inning. But they've stranded 7 runners on base, and they've had runners stranded in each of their every inning on offense.
That is a frozen rope out to left field, but quickly caught by Packard for the second out in the top of the 6th.
And that's the second ball that Todd Lott's really squared up today. And second ball, he's pulled down the left field line. The first one got into the corner for a double. That one, like you mentioned, a scorching line drive. It took Bryant Packard in a couple of steps, but had a beat on it right away as he made the catch for the second out.
Tommy Jew now up for the Harbor Hawks. 2 quick outs in the top of the 6th. That is a foul ball that will land just past the Wareham Gateman side of the stadium here at Splanane Field in Wareham. Pitch is in. In for a strike. Quickly down 0-2 is Tommy Jew. Here, 2 outs. In the top of the 6th, Wareham is up 4-1. You're joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss at that high fastball. And the Harbor Hawks are unable to do anything. The Wareham Gatemen will be up in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in Wareham in the bottom of the sixth. Elliott still on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Pitch is in for a ball to the leadoff man for the Wareham Gatemen. Kreidler up. That is a ground ball to the shortstop, Wenzel. He'll throw on to Pedro Pagers at first for the first out in the bottom of the sixth.
And a pretty easy play for Wenzel. Took him maybe a step off to his left, but fielded it cleanly in glove side and a strong throw over to Pages. Quick first out for Adam Elliott in the bottom of the sixth, something him and the Harbor Hawks desperately need.
Miller's now up. That is a foul ball. Hunter on deck for the Gatemen. The lights are very bright here in Wareham. They're glaring right into our broadcast area here. First pitch is in for a strike.
That's a good breaking ball from Elliott. That had some nice bite right at the tail end of it, dropping right at the knees of Millis. Elliott gave up a run in last inning, but that was the first run he's allowed all season up to this point.
Pitch is in. That is a fly ball in between the second baseman and the right fielder, but Harver able to catch it for the second out in the bottom of the sixth.
That one had a little more hang time to it than the single last inning from Bryant Packard, where Harver was coming in for it and made a diving attempt, but couldn't quite come up with it. However, he takes charge on that one, calling Como off because you hear over the crowd mic and here at Spillane Field that Como had the original call on it going back for it, but Harver came in and called him right off as he had the easier play for out number 2.
Pitch is in for a strike to Hunter. He's currently batting 132, but he has 6 RBIs on the season. Ball high. It's now 1-1 count. One pitch. Foul ball. Lands just above where the fans are sitting behind the Wareham Gateman dugout. Behind there is batting cages. They have some fun games for kids to play when they come to the game. Strike 3 called. Got him looking. Hunter not happy about it. Elliott walking out of the off the mound. It is still 4-1 here in Wareham. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the 7th. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Ron Marcello. This is my solo inning for the night. First pitch flies back into the netting right near the Wareham Gateman dugout. Brady Lindsley up for the Harbor Hawks. Couple of games ago, we saw player 2 times flinging his bat beyond us, and that was in Hyannis. Lucas still on the mound for the Gateman. 1-0 pitch. Ball outside. The count runs now at 1-1. That is a ground ball that will be caught by the first baseman. Doesn't even hit the ground for the first out in the top of the 7th. Wenzel now up for the Harbor Hawks. 1 out in the top of the 7th. Score is 4-1 Wareham. Pitch is in for a strike. Oh, pitch. That is a ball inside. Wenzel had to turn his shoulders away as that could have hit him. One pitch. That's a ball in the dirt. Bounced up. But Miller's able to make the stop. Number 13 for the Wareham Gateman behind the plate. Two-one pitch. That ball is in for a strike. Wenzel trying to get out of the way, but in the process kind of put up his arms so it looked like he swung. Wenzel is 2 for 3 on the day. He has 3 RBIs, but is batting .204 just below the Mendoza line. 2-2 pitch. That ball is outside, runs the count full at 3-2. Three-two pitch. That is a foul ball. I'll go behind the stands here at Spillane Park. Three-two pitch. That is another foul ball in the same spot. That side really has been worn. Wareham Gateman fans have to be careful. But there is a netting there to protect them. Still, you never know. 3-2 pitch. That ball's inside. Ball 4. And a 1-out walk. With the Harbor Hawks down by 3, could get them going, is now Braden Como. Up to bat for the Harbor Hawks. Como goes to Rice, the Owls. Rice has a new baseball coach. Braden Como will be able to meet him when he goes there in the fall. First pitch. That is a laser that will get past the third baseman. There'll be runners at first and second with 1 out in the top of the 7th. Harbor Hawks trying to make a little late rally. Here with Seth Gray. Seth Gray. Sorry, he was up for that. With runners at first and second, one out in the top of the seventh, the Wareham Gateman infield is playing at double play depth. Lucas really is only trouble so far coming out of the pen. First pitch is outside of the zone for ball one. Wareham's currently in their Friday night red jerseys. As every home team here on Cape Cod will wear red jerseys on Friday night, while the Harbor Hawks are in their road blues. That ball is high for ball two. Quickly up 2-0 in the count. The shortstop coming over to speak to the pitcher. I'm sure about some defensive alignment. Up 2-0 in the count is Seth Gray. 2-0 pitch. That's a ball. Runs the count at 3-0. And we'll have to see what Coach Gassman gives Seth Gray as a signal here. Potentially having the bases loaded with a walk. 3-0 pitch. That is ball four. The bases are now loaded with one out. The Harbor Hawks are down by 3 runs. And this is a big spot for the Harbor Hawks. And the pitch coach for Wareham is having a visit with his pitcher. Everyone's just talking to each other. The infielders talking to Braden Como over at second. And that's going to do it. A new pitcher will come on for the Gateman. We will be right back. As now we're just going to stay here as the pitching change is happening. Here in Wareham, the pitcher now on for the Gateman. Cody Carroll goes to University of Southern Mississippi. He's from Florida. As he continues to warm up. Here the lights are continuing to get bright here in Wareham as the night started out as somewhat overcast and then sun started to peek out. Very humid here in Wareham. But everything is fine here. The Harbor Hawks in business in the top of 7th. And everyone will go back to their respective positions. And play's going to start back up here. Wenzel is at third, Como is at second, and Seth Gray is at first. And now the catcher and pitcher will meet on the mound to discuss how they're going to get out of this jam. Matthew barefoot up. A big opportunity for the Harbor Hawks here to be able to tie this game and maybe take the lead, but they got to be able to score a couple of runs. Can't afford to get doubled off here, as that's the way the Gatemen are playing defensively, knowing they're still up by 3 runs. Pitch is in from Carroll. In for a strike right down the heart of the plate, barefoot. Was not expecting that. Buckled his knees a little bit. Carroll has a 4.69 ERA in 7 2/3 innings. A no pitch, another swing and a miss at that nasty changeup by Carroll. Barefoot is batting .375 down here in the Cape with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. A very important player for this Harbor Hawks team so far in 2018. An 0-2 pitch. That is a ground ball that will go foul. Here, down 0-2 is Barefoot. 1 out, bases are loaded. The Harbor Hawks are down by 3 runs. It's 4-1. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 at that low out inside changeup for the second out here in the top of the 7th. And now up Pedro Pages. Here in another big spot. The Harbor Hawks cannot afford to not get any runs out of this. Because if they can't get it, they'll be down to their 6 outs. Trying to keep this winning streak alive. Oh, pitch for Pages. Outside for a ball. Now up 1-0 in the count. Pages is batting .317 with 1 home run and 7 RBIs. Big night a couple of nights ago in Hyannis. That ball is outside. Now he's up 2-0 in the count as he hit a moonshot into center field. That was off the wall, almost got out, and then hit one out to left field, showing some power, something that Pages has shown the past 5 or 6 games. Pitches in low. It's a 3-0 count here. Pages will probably get the red light here, not allowed to swing at this pitch, as Hyannis potentially could get a run on a walk. Real pitch. That's in for a strike route down the heart of the plate. A get me over fastball from Carroll. His pitch count's already pretty high in 7 2/3 innings. Doesn't want to bring it up. Three 3-1 pitch. In for a strike. Here it's a full count, 3-2, 2 outs. All the runners will be going here for Hyannis. Carroll steps off the mound. A big pressure situation. Here with the count full at 3-2. 3-2 pitch. In for a strike. Strike 3. Got him looking. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks unable to score any runs in the top of the 7th. It is 4-1 here in Wareham. The Harbor Hawks will be in defensively. Wareham will be up. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Welcome back here in Wareham. The score is 4-1. The Gatemen. Ryan Pepio on the mound now for the Harbor Hawks. As he throws down to second, as they're still getting warmed up here at Splaname Field. Jeremy Idens now up for the Gatemen. Nobody out in the bottom of the seventh, trying to keep it still to a 3-run game as the Harbor Hawks had a value and opportunity in the top of the seventh, but let it go down by the wayside. Pepio's first pitch out of the pen. The ball just low inside to Idens. Idens is batting .307. No home runs, but 8 RBIs. On the season, Pepio has a .540 ERA. Ball goes foul, runs the count to 1-1. Action in both bullpens in Wareham, as you can't see Wareham's really, but I can see out there beyond the green kind of carpet they have, as they call it, on the wall. I could see someone getting warmed up out there. And then in the Hyannis bullpen, which is right near where the foul pole is in left field, I can see 2 guys getting warmed up for the Harbor Hawks. As the Harbor Hawks definitely have a lot of arms. Now count runs at 2-2. The Idens is 12 for 39 on the season. Sueva up to bat next for the Gatemen. Strike 3. Swing and a miss by Idens at that low off-speed pitch. Valenzuela. Now up, he is batting .380 on the season. He has 1 home run and 3 RBIs. For 1 pitch. Ball's high. I accidentally set the score. It is 4-1. It's a high pitch for a ball. It's a 1-0 count. Don't get mistaken. He did not walk. 1-0 pitch. That is a laser out to left field, but that will go foul. Lands just past the goal. The goal post here in Wareham, as this is where they used to play football. As now they have a fence that goes around the whole field. I'm sure at the time when they did play football, there was no fence, or it could have been removable. 1-1 pitch from Pepio. Swing and a misses Valenzuela. And he is down now 1-2 in the count. 1 out in the bottom of the seventh. Wareham is up 4-1. 1-2 pitch from Pepio. A foul ball. Lands on top of the school just behind us. In our broadcast position. Definitely, as me and Lyle talked about a couple of innings ago, definitely one of the more interesting spots to broadcast a game here in the Cape Cod League. As in Hyannis, we're right behind home plate. And a lot of other places, you're usually down behind home plate on the road on a table. But here in Wareham, they have us up. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pepio. 2 gunners. Then we have a net protecting us. Thank you for the Wareham Gatemen for protecting us with a net. As without the net, I'm not sure what would really happen. Shatton now up. He is batting .422 on this season in the Cape. I could have said a young season, but now we're almost 30% through the season, maybe 35. It's really the first or second week in July really is the halfway point. So we start in mid-June. First pitch is in for a ball. Here in Wareham, the Hyannis Harborhawks are wearing camo hats with blue road jerseys, while Wareham is wearing the Friday night red jerseys. It's every Friday night a Cape Cod League team, the home team, wears the red jerseys to honor the troops and military personnel in the United States. Did not go as baseball in Cape Cod will be played on 4th of July as there's a parade and then there will be a game between the YD Red Sox for the Harborhawks. So I'm sure they'll be making special jerseys for that. 2-1 pitch. That is a laser out to left field, but will go foul. Couple hard hit balls out there by both sides. We had to lead off the game for the Harborhawks. Davis Wenzel hit a launcher out to left. And then to lead off for the Gatemen, Hyannis hit a bullet for a home run. As things have definitely changed for the Harborhawks. They're down 3 runs. And they are 6 outs away. And the Harborhawks are going to have to get something going in the 8th inning. Strike 3 called. Got him looking as Pepio. The Harborhawks get to have a 1-2-3 inning defensively. Yeah, the Harborhawks are still losing 4-1. And Wareham, they'll be up in the top of the 8th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in Wareham as we're getting ready to start the top of the 8th. Lau joins me back in the booth. Hopefully you enjoyed your time off as I had some good stories to tell about our broadcast position along with talking about the bright lights here in Wareham.
They're staring me right down in the face, those lights.
Definitely are. Hover up to bat for the Harborhawks. The first pitch goes high for a ball. One-0 pitch from Carroll. That ball outside. Count now is at 2-0. Pitch. Another ball outside. The count now runs at 3-0. Carroll having a hard time really finding the strike zone really in this outing as he walked the bases loaded and obviously got out of it, but had a hard time really commanding the zone. And not even in an innings appearance. Pitches in for a strike. get me over fastball. Count now is at 3-1. It's 4-1 in the top of the 8th here at Spillane Field. 3-1 pitch. That's in for a strike. Count now runs full at 3-2. Three-two pitch. In for a strike. Got him looking for the first out in the top of the 8th after being up in the count 3-0. Then strikes out.
3 straight strikeouts for Cody Carroll, too. He got Barefoot and Pages to end the 7th and therefore stomping down on a rally, squandering a Harbor Hawks opportunity, and now gets Trevor Hauber looking to start the 8th. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for the right-hander.
Todd Lott now up trying to change that narrative as he's one of the power bats of the Harbor Hawks lineup. Pitches in for a strike as in Sunday's doubleheader on the road against Orleans seems like for an eternity because that's really when the Harbor Hawks kind of really started hitting their stride. 0-2 pitch. That's a ball in the dirt. They've swept both doubleheaders they've had so far this year, and potentially another one late in the year against the Falmouth Commodores because the game got rained out last night. A lot of rainouts here in the Cape so far this year.
That'll happen early in the season, but as the weather picks up in July, it'll get better.
Weather's starting to get better here. That is a rope out to the first baseman. That's about the 4th time that's happened today. The Harbor Hawks ball hits hard. The fielder's right there.
And second time in 2 plate appearances, that's happened to Todd Lott, where he's been on the short end of the stick. He scolded one out to left field, right at the left fielder in Bryant Packard, and then right there, hit a line drive right off the first base line. Looked like it had a chance for a double, but Lyle Lockhart taking a good first overstep, backhanding the ball on the line drive, making a nice catch and preventing extra bases and any type of rally for the Harbor Hawks here in the 8th. There's now 2 outs.
Eric Rivera now pinch hitting for the Harbor Hawks. 2 quick outs in the top of the 8th. First pitch. Ball low. Quickly up in the count. 1-0.
Rivera coming in for Tommy Jew, who ends his day at 1 for 3. Had a single in the first. Rivera hitting 147 on the year.
1-0 pitch. That is a ground ball that will get past the third baseman. And a 2-out base hit by Rivera potentially could get the Harbor Hawks going.
He didn't waste any time. He sent a hard ground ball through the left side past Kreidler, who's now over at third. Zahid Valenzuela at short for a 2-out base hit. And Rivera really needed that. That was just his 6th hit on the summer. He's still looking to get things going.
Brady Lindsley now up for the Harbor Hawks. Man on first, 2 outs in the top of the 8th. First pitch is in for a ball.
And Isaac Collins is over at second now for the Wareham Gatemen. Collins plays his baseball at Creighton University. We've seen him be a defensive replacement a couple of different times as the Harbor Hawks have squared off against the Gatemen. We saw it on Tuesday at McKeon Park on offense. Collins hitting just .211 on the young summer.
First pitch, another in for a strike. Count now is at 1-1. Lindsley up. He is 0 for 2 for the day. Batting .222. That is a foul ball. Double land just off the wall of the school. Behind us here in Wareham. One-two pitch in from Carroll. Rivera taking a healthy lead over at first. Throws back to first, but he'll be safe. Lockhart unable to apply the tag in time. Goes back to first again. He'll be safe. Rivera definitely taking a big lead there. I think Chad Gassman wants to steal.
And it would make sense. Rivera's got some speed. They're still down 3 runs. Try to get a runner in scoring position and chip away at the lead. Then Lindsley would be a single away from driving in a run.
1-2 pitch. He did not swing. Rivera will be standing up at second. Looked like that Lindsley did come around, but the second base umpire giving new life to Lindsley.
And it was pretty close. Of course, here in the CCBL, there's only 3 umpires for each game, so the third base umpire shifted his way over up the middle a little bit towards second. From his angle, he said Lindsley didn't go around, and because of it, there was a wild pitch from the right-hander in Carroll that allowed Rivera to swipe second. So not a stolen base, but regardless, it gets the runner into scoring position.
2-2 count, man on second, 2 out in the top of the 8th. Harborhawks trying to cut into this 3-run deficit. Pitch is just high for a ball. Runs the count full at 3-2. A pretty good crowd here in Wareham tonight, as this weekend and next weekend are probably going to be the 2 biggest weekends early this summer, as then the more crowds will be coming throughout the year. 3-2 pitch. Ball in the dirt, ball 4. Rivera will not be going at second on that pass ball that was in the dirt.
And Harborhawks have 2 runners on base again with 2 outs. They're threatening again, but their problem all night has been leaving guys in scoring position. All but the 6th inning, they've left guys on base. And now Davis Wenzel comes up, who's had one of the better nights of any of the Harborhawks so far. 2 for 3 with a walk, a double and a single.
First pitch in low to Wenzel. Now the catcher and the pitcher will meet to talk about it. Looks like there's some fog kind of appearing here out in the distance in Wareham. But don't worry, this will not be another Chatham. 1-0 pitch is low. Count now runs at 2-0. They're kind of a muggy, humid kind of night. That can happen here in Wareham. That can happen in a lot of places in Cape Cod. But nothing like Chatham. Pitch is in for a strike. Run count now is at 2-1. Pitch is a ball in low. Count now runs at 3-1.
And Cody Carroll starting to miss low with a handful of his pitches, particularly that fastball. As he sits at a 3-1 count to Wenzel. He threw a lot of low strikes to Brady Lindsley. Couldn't get that pitch high up enough in the zone. And Wenzel is probably looking for a fastball to turn on here with a hitter's count and 2 guys on.
Pitch is a ball high for ball 4. The bases will be loaded for the second time in a row. And the Harborhawks, this is their best now opportunity on the day.
And they stranded the bases loaded last inning in the 7th. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. Neither Matthew Barefoot or Pedro Pages could come up with that clutch base hit. Of course, Barefoot had the RBI single back in the 3rd inning that scored the lone Harborhawks run. But Barefoot and Pages both punched out last inning against Carroll, and it left the bases loaded. Now Braden Como and Seth Gray Seth Gray might have an opportunity, we should say. With 2 outs, Como definitely will. He's got a chance to make something happen here, cut the lead to within a run or 2.
as the pitching coach of the game and came out, talked to the pitcher. He's now going back. And now up now is Braden Como.
You would think the way the Harbor Hawks have been swinging the bats over the last week, something's going to click. We've just been waiting for that big hit that we haven't seen yet, like we saw the other night in Brewster or on Tuesday against these Gatemen at McKeon Park.
Pitch is in for a ball thrown back to first, but he'll be safe. One-0 pitch into Como. Bases are loaded, 2 outs. That's another ball low. It's a 2-0 count.
And Cody Carroll just screamed into his glove. Likely something we can't repeat here on the broadcast, but
Definitely cannot.
But he just cannot seem to locate any of his pitches right now. He's missing low again, this time with both pitches to Como and a 2-0 count.
2-0 pitch. That is a foul ball that will land just past the Gateman dugout. It's 2-1 count. Bases are loaded. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. That is a pitch that gets past the first and second baseman. 1 run scores, and that will all that will do it. It's now a 4-2 game. The bases are still loaded for the Harbor Hawks.
And we were talking about earlier in Como's at bat, we were just waiting for that hit, and we see a little bit of it right there as Braden Como doesn't try to do too much with that pitch, just stays with that outside fastball, driving it the other way into right field. Lindsley was held up at third as Jeremy Hyannis has a strong throwing arm from out in right field. The bases stay loaded. The lead now cut in half. The score 4-2. Seth Gray's up at the plate with the bases loaded. Another chance to strike, maybe tie the game if he can put something in the gap.
Carroll was definitely not happy as when the catcher threw back to the pitcher, Carroll muttered something at the home plate umpire. Thought he was getting squeezed a little bit.
And he seems to be all over the place right now, both with his pitches and his mental state. And I was about to say that the Wareham coaching staff was opting to leave him in the game, but I guess that's the broadcaster's curse before I even say anything, because the head coach is now coming out to the mound and he's ready to take Carroll out and make a pitching change.
Well, a new pitcher is going to come out on the mound for Wareham. We're going to let him get warmed up. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in Wareham. The new pitcher is Zach Hart.
Yeah, Zach Hart plays his baseball over at Franklin Pierce University. A right-handed pitcher just finished up his junior year. This season he threw 82 and a third innings pitched, gave up 20 earned runs, a 12-8 record, strikeouts per 9, or I should say 88 strikeouts on the year. And so far on the Cape League this summer, in terms of the right-handed pitcher in Hart, he sports actually, this might be his first appearance. No, excuse me. He's thrown 6 and a third innings, 2 earned runs, 2.25 ERA.
Pitch into Seth Gray. Ball just outside for a ball.
Or should I say 2.84 ERA, but he struck out 4 batters. This is his 4th appearance on the year, but he's in a tough situation right here. Bases loaded for the number 3 hitter for Hyannis.
Hart's pitch is in. That is a ground ball to the shortstop. He'll toss it to second. The Harbor Hawks snap a terrific opportunity here. It is now 4-2 still here in Wareham. They'll be up in the bottom of the 8th with, I'm sure they want to be their last at bats, but let's see if the Harbor Hawks can do something about it. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in Wareham. The new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks is Wes Engel.
Yeah, Wes Engel coming into the game for the Harbor Hawks, the left-hander out of Texas State. Had a very effective summer, to say the least, for Hyannis so far. No earned runs through 7 innings pitched. This will be his 5th appearance on the year. He's only given up 5 hits, walked 2, and struck out 5. But he's set to go here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's going to face the 4, 5, and 6 of the Gateman order.
Packard now up for the Gateman to lead it off in the bottom of the 8th. They are up 4-2. Engel ready to pitch. And his first pitch of his outing is a foul ball down the third base side.
Well, how about this for you, Rob? Obviously, Ryan Pepio's night's now done. He threw an inning, faced the minimum, struck out 3. He's thrown 2 innings against the Gatemen this season, both of them here at Spillane Field, faced 6 batters, and struck out all 6.
It's pretty good. Ball's low. 1-1 count.
I mean, Pepio's really turned things around ever since those first couple of starts he had early on in the summer. And that goes back to a nerves part of it, too. This is a new feeling for them. They're playing against the best talent in the country, but he's settled down well.
1-1 pitch is a foul ball. Lands beyond the school just behind us.
But of all teams to face 6 and strike out 6 against, you wouldn't think it would be against a team like the Gatemen, whose run differential coming into today is plus 13, which is tied for the highest in the league. High-powered offense, to say the least.
1-2 pitch. The ball just outside. Count now is at 2-2. Some fog kind of rolling over in the outfield here. That's Paname Field. Definitely weird. 2-2 pitch. Ball and low. Count now runs at 3-2. And the fog is kind of rising up out of right field, right where Trevor Harbor is.
But it's not completely engulfing Harbor
It
the
definitely
way
is
it was in
not. It definitely
Chatham.
is not in Chatham, that is for sure. As in Chatham, it was pretty bad. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, and that will be a leadoff walk for the Gatemen here to start the bottom of the 8th.
Just Engel's third walk on the season. He had him in a 3-2 count, but missed upstairs with a high fastball. Couldn't entice the hitter in Packard, who now reaches base for the 3rd time tonight. Packard has 2 singles to his name along with that walk.
Lockhart now up for the Gatemen. Nobody out, a man on first. The Gatemen are up 4-2. As they're trying to claim the best record in the division. Harbor Hawks have been probably the hottest team during the past week and a half here in Cape Cod. The Gatemen trying to slow them down, and they're doing just that. But the Hyannis Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the 9th to try to change that.
And Lockhart showed bunt on that last pitch and now brings Seth Gray in onto the grass in front of the bag at 3rd. Lockhart trying to advance the runner to put somebody in scoring position with less than 2 out.
1-0 pitch. That is a ground ball to the 3rd baseman, Gray. He'll throw on to 2nd, throw on to 1st. A great play by Seth Gray. 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, that's one of the easier double plays you'll see Seth Gray get all year. He takes a ground ball on a single hop right at the chest level, fields it cleanly, even took a crow hop over to Braden Como at 2nd, knowing how much time he had. Then Como with a strong throw on the relay to 1st for the 5-4-3 double play. And Wes Engel gets some help from his defense. 2 quick outs now in the bottom of the 8th.
Parks now up. That is a ball that is high. He's 1 for 1 for the day. One-0 pitch. Just outside for a ball. Looked like that was going to be called a strike. Count now is at 2-0. Hitters count. Two-0 pitch. Ball's low, but in the dirt. Lindsley able to make the stop. Count now runs at 3-0. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Three-0 pitch. That is a ball way high and bounces back in the backstop. Their Engel losing definitely the command of that pitch.
Yeah, he just let that one rip, and I think he let it go too early as it sailed way over the head of Brady Lindsley for ball 4. Wes Engel, as I mentioned, just 2 walks coming into this inning, but has already tied that total here in just 3 batters faced as he's walked a pair here in the bottom of the 8th inning, but fortunately a 5-4-3 double play erased a couple of those runners. However, Engel's still going to have to be careful as this entire Gateman order can swing the bats well, and we know Kreidler, the hitter right now, can do that. He's having a good summer so far. Of course, the 3 RBI double in the first game.
He sure can. That first pitch is in the dirt for a ball.
Well, Kreidler hitless today. Brought his average down to 263 on the summer. He's got 3 RBIs.
1-0 pitch into Kreidler. Angle in the set, looking over at first base. Pitches in for a strike. Off-speed pitch fooling Kreidler. Did not offer. It was his middle low. One pitch. The runner at first taking a healthy lead. Pitches in. That is a ground ball that will not get through. Braden Como throws on to first. A great play. And the Wareham Gatemen unable to score here in the bottom of the 8th. The Harborhawks will be up in the top of the 9th. They're going to have to make a little rally here, being down by 2 runs. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here in Wareham. We're in the top of the 9th. Harborhawks are down by 2 runs, but Matthew Barefoot's going to try to start the trend for the Harborhawks. Trying to make a comeback win here on the road. First pitch into Barefoot is a ball low.
Zach Hart's got a good fastball in his repertoire, but this is the right part of the Harborhawks order to have up. Matthew Barefoot and Pedro Pages, 2 of the hottest hitters in the lineup right now, followed by Hauber and Todd Lott.
1-0 pitch. That's a ball low. Count now runs at 2-0. To the leadoff man here in the top of the 9th. 2-0 pitch. In for a strike. Count now is at 2-1. Gatemen are up 4-2 here on the top of the 9th. 2-1 pitch. That just catches the edge of the zone. Count now runs at 2-2. Barefoot trying to get on to start the 9th.
Hart's really been spotting up his fastball in those last 2 pitches, right at the bottom of the zone for 1 and right on the inner half.
2-2 pitch. That is a rope that will get down the third base line. Barefoot charting up to second. He'll be standing up for a leadoff double. He'll actually have to slide in as Packard threw it in.
And Barefoot just continues to impress, doesn't he? I mean, he gets behind in the count 2-2, waiting for a pitch he likes, and he gets an inside fastball from Hart and just turns on it. Past the diving backhand to Ryan Kreidler down the left field line. Barefoot with the speed. Cruising into second. Of course, like you said, Robbie did have to slide in. But we said it, this is the part of the order to have up in this time of the game. And Barefoot gets started doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
Pedro Pages. Now for the Harborhawks, a man at second with nobody out. First pitch into Pages is a ball just outside. Ball 1. Harborhawks fans represented very well on the road. They've brought a good crowd here to Wareham. That is a laser that will go foul. If that got down, that probably would have scored the run. The fog now almost covering the right field, or something you'd see out of Field of Dreams.
Good reference. I didn't even think of that one.
1-1 pitch. Pedro Pages swing at that pitch, tried to bring it around, but the home plate umpire didn't even need the second baseman to make that call, or the second base umpire.
Yeah, I think that's one Pages would like to have back. He kind of gave a half swing on it. Obviously, he went around, but that was a low fastball right at the knees. Something he could have had a chance to drive.
1-2 pitch. That ball just outside, does not catch the edge of the plate. Count now runs at 2-2. A big gap in between the first and second baseman. Second baseman now kind of coming back to get rid of that. That is another ball outside. Count now runs at 3-2. The home plate umpire being very generous. The Pages. The 3-2 pitch to Pages. That is a ground ball that will get down to the second baseman. He has it. He'll throw it on to first. The runner does come over to third. And now a runner in scoring position. At third.
Well, a ground ball to the right side, that would have been more than ideal if this was a one-run ball game, but the score's still 4-2 here in the top of the ninth. So Barefoot moves over to third, but they're going to need a couple more hits in Hyannis if they want to come back and tie this ball game. Obviously, one run not being enough, so they're going to need some production out of Hauver and Lott.
Pitches into Hauver, swing and a miss. It's foul ball. Hauver with that home run power, as we saw in Kajewit, as he hit a home run. Definitely can hit it, as he is batting .260. He's 4 RBIs in that one home run. Foul ball. Lands to the backstop here in Wareham. Just before the scout area, as I mentioned earlier in the game. They did replace the glass, though. So that's important. 0-2 pitch into Hauver. Trying to get that run in to cut down this lead. It's ball outside now, runs the count at 1-2. One-two pitch. Just gets the tip of the bat on that as that flings back to the backstop.
That's all you need in that situation. Hauver just fighting off an off-speed pitch from Zach Hart, staying alive in the at-bat, trying to come up with a clutch one-out hit.
Barefoot taking the lead off of third, not very big. The defense of the Gateman is playing back. 1-2 pitch. That is a ground ball that will not get past second baseman. A great play is off the bag, and he'll be safe. The run does score. It is now 4-3.
And I think that's going to be a credited RBI single to Trevor Hauver. He did a great job in that at bat, keeping his hands back, staying through the ball, and drilling it through up the right side. Second baseman and Isaac Collins, who came in as a defensive replacement, made a sweet slide and stop going off to his left. It looked like he had a chance to gun Hauver at first, but a throw into the dirt couldn't be picked out by Lyle Lockhart. And the Harborhawks get a runner on base and a run scored. So they're in business here. Guy on first, 1 out, 4-3 ball game, and you got probably the biggest power hitter in your order in Todd Lott, who we know has been scorching hot as of late.
Todd Lott with one swing of the bat here can take the lead for the Harborhawks. Hauver over at first. That is a rope. That is far. That will not be out. It is caught by the right fielder. And that ball looked like it was going to be gone, but the wind takes it down.
I definitely sat up in my seat a little bit on that one. Off the bat, we know Lott has some opposite field power, and we saw him hit an opposite field bomb this season at Katuitt. I thought maybe it had a chance originally, but Idens had a perfect beat on it. Took maybe a step back and a few over to his left and settled under it for the easy out number 2. And Eric Rivera now the last hope for Hyannis.
Rivera came up his last time up. Got a big hit. That pitch is in for a ball. Rivera's speed for sure. Definitely would scare the Gateman if he got on. One 0 pitch, throws back to first. There will be no tag. So he'll be safe. One 0 pitch. That pitch is in for a strike. Just catches the inside part of the plate. Count now is at 1-1.
And Zach Hart just continuing to spot up that fastball right at the bottom of the zone. That one catching Rivera right at the knees. Just watched it go by as the count evens.
1-1 pitch. Ball's in the dirt. 2-1 count to Rivera. Man on first, 2 out in the top of the 9th. The Harbor Hawks were able to score a run in the top of the 9th, trying to score another one to tie the game. Two-one pitch. That pitch is in for a strike. Harbor Hawks down to their last strike. Unless if Rivera can do something here. Join us after the game for the post-game show as Chris Lucy will have all your updates and around the league scores and talking about the game. 2-2 pitch. That ball is just foul. It's a building right to the left of us here. I'm assuming that is some type of storage room for the gear here at Wareham Field. As the batting practice turtle right next to it. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 is Rivera at that low pitch, and the Harbor Hawks unfortunately dropped this one to the Wareham Gatemen 4-3. Lyle, what a good game.
It was definitely a good game, and we saw some fight in Hyannis toward the back end of it. They score a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th, but that just not quite enough. Jeremy Idens, really the Harbor Hawk killer tonight. 3 RBIs of his own, the home run in the 1st and the 2 RBI single in the 2nd. Of course, Wareham would tack on an additional in the 5th. But for Hyannis, we talked about this just a couple weeks ago that they were having issues leaving runners on base. And tonight, more of the same. They leave 14 runners on base in this ball game. And it's just tough to win games when you come up short in that many opportunities that you're given. You leave 14 on base. There are guys on base all but 1 inning of this game, that lone exception being the 6th. It's just tough. So they put up a good fight. The pitching did basically what they were supposed to do. Against a tough Wareham offense, they held them to 4 runs and just 1 after those first 2 innings. But the offense just couldn't come up with enough clutch hits tonight to prevail victorious.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do us here for the play-by-play. Stay tuned after the break. Chris Lucy will break it down all for you on the post-game show. 4-3 final here in Wareham. Game show.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Thank you for tuning in. Final score here from Wareham. A tough one for the Harborhawks. They fall 4-3, scraping one last run across the board in the top of the ninth inning, but ultimately unable to maintain first place in the Western Division. Again, I'm Chris Lucy, Robert Marcello, second half play-by-play man over to my right now. And Robert, the headline from this game for the Harborhawks just has to be missed opportunities. Hyannis had plenty, squandering runners in scoring position in, count it, the first, the third, the fifth, the seventh, and the eighth innings. And really just having a tough loss against a Wareham club that gave Hyannis not only every chance to keep their Western Division lead, but grow their Western Division lead with a free 2 points heading into a rematch tomorrow at McKeon Park.
Yeah, I think they just squandered too many opportunities tonight. It seemed like for the past week and a half, every single time someone needed a big hit in the lineup, they were able to make it. And unfortunately, tonight, it just ran out.
We'll take you through those missed opportunities right now here on the Hyannis Harborhawks post-game coverage. In the first, Davis Wenzel led things off with a double, advanced over to third base, and was stranded there. Over in the third, there was two men on base when Braden Como grounded into a fielder's choice, and then Pedro Pages struck out to end that rally in the fifth. Gray was on second, Barefoot on first, and Pages grounds out to end the inning on a 3-2 pitch, trying to defend the plate with that 3-2 two-strike approach, but not working out for the Harborhawks. Pages with a tough game today, watching a 4-game hit streak ebb away. In the seventh inning, Lucas loaded the bases. Easton Lucas, pitching for the Gatemen, gave Hyannis a major opportunity to score here, but was replaced by Cody Carroll, who shut things down, got Matt Barefoot out to an 0-2 count, had him flail at the 0-2 pitch for strike three, and then Pedro Pages actually was able to jump ahead in the count 3-0 with the bases loaded in the top of the seventh inning, 2 outs, and then 3 straight strikes from Carroll to end the threat. And then in the eighth, a bases loaded situation. Hyannis can only get 1 run out of it, and you feel for Pedro Pages tonight. Came up with ample opportunities to continue the hot streak he's been on, but regardless, he's unable to provide for the Harborhawks. An 0-for-5 tonight, going a very, very tough 0-for-1, 2, and 3 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I think Pedro Pages has been playing very well. It's unfortunate tonight that his pitch streak is over, but he definitely can't get down in the dumps. Tomorrow we have a matchup with the same club back at our place. We have to be ready to go.
I'm Chris Lucy. He's Robert Marcello. Hyannis falling 4-3 here from Spillane Field in Wareham in game number 15 of the Cape Cod League season for the Harborhawks. And we'll go right back to the beginning here as we've kind of broken down the missed opportunities for Hyannis. We'll look at some positive things. Travis Marr didn't get Hyannis off to the start that the Harborhawks wanted, obviously, but still not too bad. 3 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, only 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. What did you see out of Marr that impressed you today, Robert?
I actually thought Marr pitched pretty good tonight. He gave the Harborhawks a chance to win the game. Unfortunately, they did not win the game, but I thought he pitched very well.
Hyannis unable to take the win today, and they used 3 arms from the bullpen in the process. Yesterday, of course, was an extra off day for Hyannis, able to take a little bit of a breather with the rainout of the game against the Commodores, but that's a wash, pun completely intended, as Harborhawks pitchers have to really pick up. Travis Marr is only able to go 3 innings, and they use 3 arms out of the bullpen, which is especially tough because this same Wareham Gateman side goes against the Harborhawks again tomorrow. So that really requires a big bounce-back outing from Mike Mockma, who hasn't seen the mound since throwing about a third of an inning against the Wareham Gatemen in a 9-0 loss.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to come back and pitch better. He's going to be back at home in McKeon Park with the home fans, expecting a big crowd this weekend because of all the people that are coming down this weekend and next weekend and for the rest of the summer. I think that will definitely help him.
Final score one last time here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Wareham 4, Hyannis 3. The Wareham Gatemen jumping ahead of the Harbor Hawks at 11-6 with 22 points on the campaign. Hyannis falls to 10-5-1, 20 points, trailing the Wareham Gatemen now by 2 points. But the Harbor Hawks have another chance to strike back and claim a tie atop the Western Division tomorrow at McKeon Park. That one between the Wareham Gatemen and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks is scheduled to go at 6:30 right here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Or it's at 6, on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. You can catch pregame coverage at 5:35 with Robert Marcello on that one. Signing off on behalf of Robert Marcello, first half play-by-play man Lyle Goldstein and Danny Terzer, our field reporter. I'm Chris Lucy. Danny just picked up an interview with our Harbor Hawks player of the game. You can log on to Twitter and check us out at Hyannis Harbor Hawks, not only to find out who our player of the game is, but to hear Danny's interview with said player. Again, you can check us out on SoundCloud, Hyannis Harbor Hawks, on Twitter at the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Find us out here on YouTube for our video post-game show, Hawk Talk, which will be posted up just after this game ends. We're going to head down to the field and get that going for you right now. One last time from Spillane Field. Final score, Wareham 4 and Hyannis 3. I'm Chris Lucy. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a great evening.